I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We work for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks.
What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. Welcome back, Brother Jim, Brother Dave, Super Dave, and we have for his second time, Paco, a.k.a. Paco Najera.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. Hi, everybody.
Morning, Francisco.
Morning.
Wow, that was
Dave.
super. That would be David.
Yeah, Dave.
Well, we always like to kick the podcast off with the pledge. Paco, you want to lead us in that?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, hey, last week we made a prayer for John and Cindy, and I said they were friends of Steve Barnes. Well, later that day, my phone rang and it said Steve Barnes, and I was like, I screwed it up, huh? He's like, you did. He's like, I don't know who those people are. But the cool part about it is the person that did request it, Jesse Rodenbaugh, he didn't tell me I screwed it up. He just said, thank you for the prayers.
Very
so
cool.
I was like, oh. So anyway, I was like, well, let me make a correction next week, and we'll pray for them again.
Well, the really good thing is we prayed for somebody that he didn't know. I mean, it's still all good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We were praying for the people. It was just the wrong.
Well, we prayed for
from?
the right people.
Wrong requester.
Yeah.
So we got it straight, though, but let me fix it.
It was the payor, not the payee.
Exactly. You got it right. Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to go out and do some trucking today. We pray for the safety of our fleet, all of their families, and all the other families and individuals we come across on the road today. We pray for patience and in making good, safe decisions. We pray to be accident-free and that we all make it back to the comfort of our homes this evening. We pray for healing and 100% recovery for all of our family members that are ill. We pray for a miracle for Cindy and strength and peace for John, and we pray that we find Amber's mom. No matter what, we trust you, God, and it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. You know, again, Jam, not to interrupt you, but that part about being safe and families getting home safe.
Yeah.
You know, we had an accident yesterday.
Yep.
And the guy's claiming injuries, and we just bumped into him. The severity of that is just over the top.
Yeah, I mean, the prayer should be we don't bump into somebody who's going to lie about the accident. But yeah, in all seriousness, like, there's a lot at stake.
Yep.
100%. So, as a reminder, anything you hear on today's podcast is not the opinion of JFW's. It's just Paco, Dave, and Jim's and I's. Episode 83, 465 downloads. We are steadily trending downward.
Oh, not good.
But we had the most comments. I'll get to that in a second. We're at 36.9 thousand downloads, and we have 197 followers. Even though we didn't have a lot of listens or plays last week, I had more comments about that was the best episode ever.
I had several myself.
I had like three people be
guys
like, oh, that was the best. That was the best.
Saying they loved it.
Yeah. So I was like,
I didn't get any feedback. I must not have been upset enough to anybody tell me to calm down. Maybe that's the reason it was the best. I don't know.
Funny enough, there have been a lot of bacon comments because we were talking about my safe word. I had people just texting me out of the blue bacon. The emoji of bacons. One guy was like, who was it? Nick Purcell. He's like, I just call you Jam Bacon now. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's good.
Omar Reyes, he did say, I enjoyed this week's podcast. I really enjoyed the self-improvement discussion you guys had about surrounding yourself with great people. Reminded me of a quote I heard, act like the person you want to become till you become. I'd love to hear more on self-improvement topics such as money management and etc. on the podcast. Well, Omar, if you want to hear about money management, I don't know if you've gone back, but Linda did a whole Dave Ramsey series about financial peace. So go back and check those out. I'll try to get you episode numbers.
Yeah, she was giving out books.
She gave out
Yeah,
10
donated
books.
it.
Yep.
I mean, there's Dave Ramsey's have a couple quick, easy books. You know,
Yep.
they're good stuff to follow.
Absolutely. 100%. Well, guys, it's time for the Dad Joke Challenge. Paco, you are the guest, so you get to kick it off.
I hope you don't answer this one.
Speak into the mic, please.
I hope you don't answer this one. Have you heard about that new movie that was coming out, Constipated?
Has it come out yet?
It hasn't. I was going to tell you earlier, don't answer my joke. Oh, yeah.
If you listened to the podcast, you would have known that. I told that joke myself.
You did? Well, I got another one then. This one you can't answer because it just goes. I used to run a dating service for chickens, but I was struggling to make hens meet.
I like that. That's great. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. So,
Somebody jump in. It's rough.
everybody pays attention, not everybody, I guess, to style trends and so forth. And eyebrows are a big deal nowadays on women, right? Have you all noticed that?
Yeah.
Well, my wife, she drew her eyebrows a little too high the other day. I told her that. She seemed surprised.
That's funny. BD, go for it. Or
All right, everybody knows my son's getting ready for college. Gets out of here in August. Do you guys know why the son doesn't need to go to college?
he's already bright. Something to do with being bright.
It's already got 8 million degrees.
Oh man, that's good. I like it.
I did.
Wah,
I
wah.
did read that someplace.
Man, I got want
I got more. There's more where that come from.
one. More what was?
So a wife comes home and her husband's in the kitchen just swatting flies. And she's like, "What are you doing? Do we have that many flies?" He's like, "Yeah, we do in the kitchen. It was a mess." He said, "I got 2 males and a female." And she's like, "What? How can you tell which are males and which are female?" He said, 2 were on the beer cans and 1 was on the phone.
That's pretty good. I'm gonna give you guys a choice. I told you the joke about the 3 bulls and the cows.
Yeah.
I could either tell that one or a joke about a trucker, a hitchhiker, and a priest.
Oh, got to go with the trucker joke.
All right. So a trucker hates lawyers so much that when he sees them, he runs them over. One day he sees a priest hitchhiking, and he decides to give the holy man a ride. As they go along the road, the trucker spots the lawyer by the side of the road and steers to run over him. At the last minute, he remembers the priest in the truck, and he swears away, hoping to avoid judgment of his sins. He says, "I'm sorry, Father, I don't know what came over me." The priest replies, "Don't worry, I got him with the door."
That's good.
All right. New employees. We had one new employee start this week, and that is Oscar Castorena.
Welcome, Oscar.
Yep, welcome, Oscar.
Welcome.
Excellent. Anniversaries. We missed a pretty important anniversary yesterday or last week. I really need to get my act together. And that was Dave White hit 36 years on 6/1. So happy anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man, you
Very
are an
nice.
old fart.
Right? Right, no doubt.
David Gayton hit 5 years on Sunday the 4th. Jesus Varela, he hits 2 years today. Mike Tafoya hits 3 years tomorrow. And Ryan Emmerling hits 3 years on Friday.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Some great
Congratulations, you guys.
celebrations.
Good job,
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you,
Yeah,
everybody.
Congrats.
Thank you.
We didn't have a single 1 year anniversary. These are all seasoned vets.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
I like
Very
seeing that.
cool.
Awesome. Birthdays. Jack Domenico, his birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Jack.
Happy
birthday, Jack.
Happy birthday, Jack.
Happy birthday.
Family birthday celebrations. We missed this birthday, but it was Big Country's fault. Jackie Riley, her birthday was on June 2nd. And then Ann Carlo, he's a new employee here. His son Landon turns 11 this week. So happy birthday, Landon.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Shout outs. I want to give a shout out. I'm sure we all want to give a shout out to Ish. Did you guys all see the video of him putting out that grass fire?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All he was missing was his fireman's hat and coat.
I told him, I said, you should try out for the fire department.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically, he was up, it looked like somewhere up near Fairplay. I'm
Yeah.
just assuming there was a DG Coleman truck there. It looked like a motorcycle caught on fire somehow, like his bag was on fire,
Yeah,
and
it
the
was
guy,
his backpack.
he threw his backpack in the grass, and Ish went over there with his fire extinguisher and put it out. So
Yeah, but was it on fire from skidding across the ground?
No, it
because the
was
motorcycle
next
was
to
laid
its-
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked Ish about it. His bag was kind of hanging down on his exhaust.
right.
Oh.
Caught on fire. So it was attached to the seat somehow. And he pulled it really hard to get it away from the bike. And that's what tipped the bike over.
Oh, wow.
And he got pissed off and threw it into the grass.
Oh, and then the grass is on
Yeah,
fire.
the grass caught on fire.
Wow.
Oh, that really starts to turn out to be a bad day.
Yeah, it steamrolled. It steamrolled on the guy.
You could tell watching Ish spring into action, he's got a really big amygdala.
Yeah. Yeah.
You better explain that, Jim.
Yeah, 'cause-
Amygdala is a part of the
There's
brain
going to
that
be some confusion out there amongst our people.
the amygdala is a part of the brain that makes people jump into action. It's your hero part of your brain, basically.
is, yeah.
Let's see. Alfonso Ledesma, he said, good morning. I broke down yesterday in 00100. PTO line came out. 0025, I don't remember his name, and 001, Big John stopped to help. Want to give them a shout out for stopping and helping out. So that would have been Armando Deval in 25.
Nice.
Yep,
shout out.
10-4 on Armando.
Yeah.
Amber sent me an email last night, said, would you please make sure to give the kiddos a special shout out for me tomorrow? Kiddos would be JR's son Isaiah and my daughter Bella. They were down here Saturday raising heck, and Amber got them to do some poster boards for the truck driver appreciation week. She said they did such a great job on the drawings on the poster boards for appreciation week. They were such a big help and made those posters way more special than I could have ever made them. It was so fun getting to watch them draw with so much creativity. They sure made it fun while lighting up the room with laughter. Thank you to the little ones, and thank you for making this week even more special. So,
Nice. Did you say Truck Driver Appreciation Week?
Truck Driver and Wash Bay Appreciation Week.
Mechanic
Oh,
Week.
mechanic.
I was like, oh, did he say Truck Driver?
Yeah, I sure did. Mechanic and Wash Bay Appreciation Week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get burritos.
I was up late last night. Yeah, I don't know. Did you see what Bella put JFW means?
Yeah.
I did.
I
Yeah,
don't
that
remember,
was-
but
that was
it was
cool.
broke down.
Yeah.
Warrior. The W was Warrior.
Yeah.
The F was Fierce.
J was Justice.
That's right.
F was Faith, and then W was Warrior.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So.
That is cool.
And then Troy Holmes, he sent me a shout out this morning. Let me pull that up. I want to give a shout out to Jake and John in the shop for fixing the window in 0026 so it rolls down and up now. Took them a week to find the broken wire, but they kept looking until they found it. Thank you for not giving up. Hey, awesome shout out for Mechanic and Wash Bay
There you
Appreciation.
go.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yep. And
Ding,
then
ding,
up,
ding, we have a winner.
looks like George Potgeeter. He said, shut up to Adam, but he meant shout out to Adam, the load operator at Fairplay. Keeping our trucks in and going in and out very quick. Thank you, Adam. Great work. So there you go.
Oh, cool.
There's also a voice message that I'll listen to later. I'm scared. You guys got any shout outs?
Yeah, I got a quick shout out there for Rico Christensen. He's kind of got some bumps in the road he's going through in life, and hang in there, Rico. You can handle it, man. You'll get through it. Everything will be just fine. I got faith in you. And then one shout out, Paul Lenzini. Hey, brother. I'm not on Facebook very often, but I was on there this weekend, and you got to change your cover page, your cover picture. You can't have that beer bottle on there anymore. I know you're a manly man.
Oh, he's got a Bud Light on there?
Man, I wasn't going to name it. Yeah, Paul,
promoted
you
it.
need to get the Bud Light off your Facebook page.
Oh, man. Pox, you got any shout outs? Are you done,
Yeah.
Dave?
Yeah, no, I think that was it.
Got a shout out for Jason. I've been meaning to send it to you, but I was like, one day I'll be back. But the course guy, the night course guy,
Yeah.
I think he plays games with me. He keeps my truck super clean, and sometimes I don't know if it was used for Coors until I'm back there and I see a little tiny piece fall off. Of course, you know, it gets
That's awesome.
stuck in there. Like, he cleans the windshields, he cleans everything. A lot of times I don't fill up at night. Like, just sometimes I don't. But I come in super early, so I fill up in the mornings, and sometimes he'll have it filled up already, and so I know. I was like, oh, he used it. And I tell him, like, hey, don't fill it up. I'll fill it up in the morning when I get there. And then he still does and cleans my mats, everything. Like, he's good.
That's
like,
awesome.
Really, really good.
That's awesome.
That's got to feel good, too, when you jump in, Paco, and you don't have to fuel it.
Yeah,
no,
those-
it does. And,
just
and
go.
I've told him, like, hey, fill it up when you go and then just leave it like that. And he's all like, I'll always have it filled up.
Yeah.
And even the windshield, like, to clean the windshield. Because when you go to them dairies, it's bad. It's really
a lot
bad.
of bugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd want him to take my truck every night.
He will.
Yeah, ask him to, right? Yeah.
No, and then he'll preload me, and he'll send me, like, at 2 a.m. I'll get the text that is preloaded. He'll put the pin, because I don't ever really go to any dairies. He'll put the pin.
Yeah.
He left me the book last time, showed me, like, exactly where to dump.
Nice.
So he's cool. He's a really good dude.
Well,
Yeah.
above and beyond.
We're spoiled with him and Charlie. Those guys are.
Yeah.
They do an amazing job.
Yeah. Yeah, and then for Jason to go through the, situational awareness, I mean, you got to mention that, because what kind of situation is he putting you in? You know?
In a good one.
Right?
Yeah, he's
He
setting
sets
you up for success, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
just leave a sticky note that says "Good luck, bud."
Yeah.
No, and he knows that I don't go to them places, and he just like, for him to even send me the pin, like, he'll tell me if I'm going through the scales or not, and he's cool. I like that dude. He's really good.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Have you ever met him?
Yep. I wanted to ride with him last time, but his son was there.
Oh, man.
Any more Pox?
No,
Okay.
unlike the other people.
Yeah, I just want to mention to everybody, it's not really a shout out, but it will be next week. Just a reminder, because we want to get the word out, and we'll mention it next week also. But Marty retires next Friday, and we're having a little get together at Yard 23,
Yes.
Dave. So yeah, we'll have ice cream truck and some snacks, stuff like that, and like everybody to come by and say goodbye to Marty and wish him well, and just wanted to make sure it's on this podcast, and next podcast we'll announce
Yeah.
it.
Marty's been trying to retire for like 10 years, hasn't he?
He has.
Or 20?
Well, I
Yeah.
thought since the day he walked in.
Yeah, right?
So
I'm retiring soon.
Since I started, for sure.
yeah.
I told him we got a pull on a bet that he's going to
Yeah.
retire or not.
Right?
Whether it'll really happen.
He's pretty convinced. He's convincing me, because I've asked several times. Amber asked him just yesterday, and he is unequivocally, "Hey, Marty, you going to stay this time?" Nope. I mean, he is sharp on that answer. No.
Yeah, he came up to the office just last week too and talked to me, which is nice when he comes up and says, "Hey," and he's like, "Nope, he's done." Yeah,
Yeah. Well, good for him, man. I won't be working when I'm 75 years old.
yeah,
Not driving a truck for 12 hours a day.
right.
You're not 75?
Man,
Next year.
shots fired.
Next year.
That's not even across the bow. That was in the bow.
That was
Just
right in the
kidding.
face.
You look 40.
Yeah, because he read them off to me too.
I got less gray hair than you, Paco.
This is my man lights.
that he spent, I think it was 30 years at Coors.
20, I think. Because
20?
he was with Bechtel for a good 10.
He said 10
Yeah.
at Bechtel, and then something else, and then us for the last 14. Mm-hmm. So
I was thinking the other day, I was trying to put it down on how long I've known Marty. And I think it's a good 25 years now, because we were hauling all that turkey poop for Bechtel.
well, when he worked for Bechtel, yep.
All over the place back in those days.
Pioneer Volmer, Pioneer Springs.
Yeah, the Pioneers,
All the Pioneer
yeah.
stuff. Isn't that crazy?
All of the A1 organics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny how we've seen things come and go.
Any other shout outs, guys?
No, that's it for me, Jim.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Shout out for Manny Velasquez.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know you
Manny
just had
B.
some back surgery, Manny. Hang in there, buddy.
Yeah.
We got we're all praying for you. Hopefully you get a speedy recovery and you can come back soon.
Absolutely.
100%. All right, moving into the discussion. Dave, you brought this up. We had the fourth wettest May in the history of.
Yeah, funny. I think I've seen 2 newscasts all year so far. And the one was 2 weeks ago, and they said we're the 5th wettest May. And then I just saw one Friday night that said we officially made the 4th wettest May. So that's just a lot of water. I mean, everybody knows the amount of rain we've gotten. Hopefully everybody's got their sprinklers off. And, I guess that's the plus side to it. It's screwing work up. But, man, what we're not getting done right now,
Going to be
it's
way
gonna
behind.
Hit. Yeah, it's going to hit.
Yeah, my wife said to me the other day, she's like, hasn't this spring just been amazing? And I'm like, well, people are suffering because of it. But, yeah, the grass is happy, you know what I mean? And we do need the moisture, and it's nice to not be in a drought. And there are a lot of benefits, but it sure isn't helping work.
Absolutely, Jay.
And I broke it down to her. She was like, wow, well, I certainly didn't mean it was nice for that, but it is,
What a gorgeous time of the year, though, Jim.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I was off Saturday, Sunday, and, you wake up, you smell that fresh air, and Janet and I have a spot on our deck in the backyard. We can go out. It's covered. It's raining outside. We grab a little blanket and our cups of coffee at 6 a.m., and you can't see the sunrise, but you watch it get light out, and, I mean, you don't get those every day, and it's just so nice to do that. So
Yeah. Dave talked to Theron from Brandon just the other day, Jam, and same kind of comment. He said, the rain is great. We need the rain, but it is hard on work, because he's the asphalt side of it.
Right.
So it's not good.
Yeah, asphalt, they got a shorter window
Yeah.
in general.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So, okay. We had mentioned retirement of flags a few weeks ago, over the last couple podcasts, actually. Well, Ann has done some research. Her and her husband wanted to let us know that there is a flag retirement ceremony on June 14th at 6 p.m. at the Platteville Veterans Memorial at 12837 County Road 32. I did a little research, and there is a really heavy responsibility that must be addressed to give proper dignity and respect to the flags when you retire them. And I started watching videos, and man, if you ain't doing it right, people are going to let you know. So there's this guy out there called the Drill Sergeant. He's got a blog or something. Well, anyway, I was watching a flag retirement ceremony, and they cut the stars off and then burned the stars separately.
Wow.
Because they said it's no longer a flag once you cut the stars out of it, and you didn't want to disgrace the flag. But this guy's like, you're disgracing it by cutting it.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
Jim.
he's like, people need to quit doing that. The proper way is the only time you should cut the flag if it's too big to burn without cutting it. Otherwise, you don't cut the flag.
Oh.
So, yeah, I was like so impressed with my research, and I was going to talk about that, and then I got to his blog. I'm like, oh, none of that stuff should be going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how you're supposed to burn it in a certain way, right? Are you supposed to have it folded, or?
What I did see is they have one distress flag that they lower, and that represents all the flags. And then they just had like this big square tin box that they were throwing the flags in. So, and I'm not saying that's how they do it in Platteville. That's just how the video was that I watched. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do they say anything or anything, Jim? I mean, is there
oh yeah, there was
a
people.
prayer or yeah?
There's things being said. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Jim, you want to take the next one? Talk about our insurance renewal.
Yeah, we can go over that. I'm going to interrupt myself, Jim. Hey, what was did any of us write it down, or we heard that comment last night? I want to talk about it, about the ride-alongs, and then the rider being blamed if he's driving the truck, and I think you brought it up,
It's a
Jam.
nasty
I
rumor.
think we need to address that.
And I don't.
I'd love to take
sorry to
it.
interrupt, but I don't think it just applies to riders. I think the drivers are talking about if they're driving so and so's truck, because so and so's on vacation. And
Honestly, it was pretty annoying. So we got a lot of people doubled up right now, and we're a type of company that we want to make sure everybody gets to work and gets paid. So what does JFW do? Because there's other companies, if you don't have a truck assignment, you're on a spare board. The spare board means We're going to call you if we need you. We're not going to guarantee you work every day. So JFW goes above and beyond and offers a guaranteed $300 to come to work and ride with somebody. To be fair to you, it's not doing JFW any favors. This is for you. This is for retention as well. This is just to provide to be better than other people, right? So yesterday, guys, like, how does ride-alongs work? So I'm like, well, you get $300. Well, his buddy's like, well, I don't drive. I just ride. If I'm a ride-along, I'm going to just ride. And I'm like, well, why? And he's like, because if you break something while you're driving somebody else's truck, you'll be blamed for it. I'm like, no, that's not true. Well, I've heard the stories. I'm like, did you hear a story from myself, JR, Scooby, one of the leaders? No, I heard it from the other drivers. So right there, it's just, I don't know how to navigate through that, right?
Rumor and gossip.
Huh?
It's rumor and gossip.
Yeah, I mean, and I say this all the time. If there's something going on, come to somebody that has the answer. Come to one of the leaders. I meet with people when they first start and every 2 weeks for a long time, for months, to make sure that everything goes smooth. And in that first meeting, I specifically say, if there's any questions about anything, come to me and ask. So to hear about, well, I heard the rumors and I've heard the stories, I mean, it's just BS, right? As a ride-along, maybe the guy driving doesn't want you to drive. And if you guys agree to that, cool. But I know if I was in a truck and I had a rider, I mean, it would be nice to like, hey, you want to take a couple rounds?
Yeah.
Maybe you got some emails or Facebook or something to do, and that, you could just kind of break off from the work for a little bit. I don't know. So
maybe you can pay attention and hone your skills a little bit too.
Or that,
right?
TikTok or hone the skills, one or the other.
Yeah, much easier to TikTok.
Yeah, and we've, on the podcast, we've repeatedly said how important the spare driver is, what we need, why we do it, how we do it, what it benefits, and then why should any one of us go yell at anybody for breaking a truck? I mean, if you have an accident, we got to address that, but breaking the truck, our trucks break. I mean, I wish they didn't.
Yeah, we have a team of mechanics to fix broken stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, that's their job.
Yeah, Mike was just complaining about it. He can't even get to the maintenance. He's just fixing them, Jam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it is discouraging, especially when me and Dave talk to people. They ask us about drivers. They ask us about a driver situation. We brag that we have extra drivers. And they're like, how are you keeping them? We tell them what we're doing, and we're like, that's amazing. How did you think about that?
Right.
And, my ending arguments here, closure here is to do the right thing. And when you look at it, we're trying to do the right thing, and hopefully that passes to that driver or that the guy that's, riding along or not riding along, or like you said, Dave, even if you get put in somebody else's truck, there is the point of being clean, leave it the way you found it or better than you found it, clean out the bed. There's those things that should be done. But if it breaks, it breaks. It's not somebody's fault. And then
yeah, you're going to be in trouble when you're on your phone and you're in the pit and you drive over a sand pile and bend a bumper.
Yeah, that's
breaking your
But
truck.
that has nothing to do with driving somebody else's truck, right,
exactly.
Dave?
Yeah, if you break the broom, let us know. We'll get you a new one.
Yeah.
Everything on our creed says together.
Right.
So you're going to ride in a truck and be like, well, we're not really doing this together.
We've touched upon him a couple times already this morning, but Dave Ramsey, I mean, he's one of the greatest powers on how to gain wealth. Do you know what his number one thing is? Do you guys know how to turn $30 into $300?
Don't spend the 30.
Go to work.
Right.
It's not a trick. You know what I mean? It's not a secret.
Yeah.
It's not anything. You have to go to work to earn money, to make money, to invest money. Easiest way to turn $30 into $300. Go to work.
Full disclosure, we had a new person. He no longer works here because he didn't want to be doubled up. Like, he didn't like the idea of not having a truck assignment, which I'm pretty sure Dave, you probably told him when he took the job.
Dave keeps everything secret.
Yeah.
I don't tell anybody anything.
Yep.
Yes. Secrets and lies. That's what we call Super Dave.
Smokes and mirrors. So anyway, yeah, he would
Only tell them what they want to hear.
We're just kidding.
That's the why.
So
Isn't that reverse psychology? Maybe we should try that, Jim.
we could probably just forget about all the cultural stuff. Just assign numbers to drivers and see how it works out.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, I do want to give this driver credit. He communicated well.
Good.
He didn't just
Ghost
us, or
Yeah.
he didn't say, he wasn't. I mean, I don't agree with it, but he communicated. He communicated me on a Friday like, hey, I just want to let you know this is really different for me. Then Monday, he was going to be doubled up. He told dispatch, I don't want to be doubled up. Well, Tuesday he came around. He's going to be doubled up again. He called me. Who do I need to talk to about this being doubled up thing? And I'm like, well, what's the deal? Because you're not almost getting a truck. Like, you're in the middle of the name list to get a truck. There's not a whole lot of movement in the fleet right now. It could be a little while. He's like, I'll have to call you back. And he's like, I'm just going to have to opt out. This isn't for me. And, I was like, thank you. God bless you. Wish you the best somewhere else. And, at least he communicated. So it's not for everybody. And JFW is not for everybody. But if we are for a lot of people, we're for Paco.
Don't double me up.
You're a trainer. You get doubled up all the
The
time.
stinky guy.
Jam, I just it made me think of it because you were talking about somebody just leaving and ghosting us and whatever. We run into that a lot, Super Dave, especially on setting up the interviews. We've talked. I think it's almost. Do you think the percentage has gone down, Dave, or do you think you get ghosted 50% of the time?
I think it's gone down a little bit.
I kind of agree.
It seems people are a little bit hungrier for work right now.
Yeah, but still tons of ghosting, right? I mean, you'll set an interview and people don't show up.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll have people that work here. They could be here 6 days or 6 months, or I hope not 6 years. I hope we've proven that difference. But they just ghost you. I mean, there's never a call. There's never I quit. There's never anything. And I just ran into a piece from Kevin O'Leary, and he's the guy on Shark Tank.
Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Everybody knows him, right? And man, he's talking about how that is starting to impact people's lives because it's catching up with them because they've ghosted so many positions and so many jobs, and the people are trying to go get another job, and they'll call and get the previous experience or whatever, and they're like, we didn't even know the guy left. You know what I mean? He didn't give notice. He didn't tell us he quit, nothing. And man, it is really starting to make an impact,
Good.
which I'm thankful for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know.
You
It's-
make your bed, you got to lie in it. We had
Right?
a guy, well, you brought it up to our attention, Dave. We had a guy go apply at Brannon, which is like our brother company. Like,
Right, yeah.
Like, if we're connected with anybody, it's Brannon. And we had a guy that left 6 months ago that's saying he's still working here.
Yeah.
And he did ghost us, and
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get that job.
Nope, not a Brandon.
Oh, man.
And then just to finish up the insurance renewal, we got a little off the subject there, but
Kind
Well,
of,
that's
huh?
what, all right, we were talking about that.
yeah, just another painful
I'm
subject.
glad you brought it up, though. Not the insurance renewal. I mean, I'm happy. I'm glad you brought up that situation because, like I said, it was hard for me to navigate. When somebody tells me, "Well, I already heard. I heard the stories from the drivers," and they're not comprehending that you need to talk to a leader, I don't know what else to do there.
Right.
It's like,
It's frustrating. Yeah, and the thing is, Jan, we've never said that. We've never done that.
Ever.
Ever.
Not
You
in
know, I mean,
history.
it just doesn't come up.
tell me
so-
one time since 1935 that has happened.
right, Jam? I mean, it just like, yeah. You just, I don't know. Sometimes it's amazing where the rumors start. I mean,
Right.
how did that start? Was it just somebody that was frustrated that day and decided to,
I think some people
Say
kind of
it.
just live in those circles. That's how they've
or
lived
they
their
need
life.
the drama?
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were raised that way. Their environment is that way. They live that way, and they can't get out of that circle. They're just caught in it, spinning instead of just going, "Hey, I need to know this. Who I wonder who I should. I'll ask one of the leaders, one of the team, or whatever." So. I wanted. We keep getting off the subject of
Jim, you'll have your
insurance
shot.
renewal. Yeah, sooner or later, Jim.
It's
we'll
just
get
the
to you.
cost, Dave.
We'll get to you.
Spit it out.
Yeah, no, I right quick did the math on the $300 ride along. Because it is on our side. It's to a degree, it's tough to swallow, but it's necessary.
Right.
And for us, it's still a win-win. Right. It is just a raw cost we pay, but it's a win-win because it keeps our PTO program going. It keeps our trucks on the road. It's almost like a necessary evil, but that's not the right way to say it because it's not evil. It's a good plan. But if you just do $300 a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year, that's $78,000.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
For TikToking all day, or possibly sharpening your skill.
Yeah. Hey, come to work, and really, you don't even have to work.
I want that job now.
Right. Right. I mean,
Paco?
really,
So,
what skill is involved in that?
I would be telling dispatch, listen, I'm only going to ride along with you. If I can't be doubled up, don't put me in the truck.
Right.
It's not worth it.
Right. Exactly. I'll take the day off.
Yeah, thanks, Jam, because you just started something.
That's $78,000.
We'll have people wanting to be doubled up all the time. Oh man. Hey, so
But I mean, $300, it's substantial. I mean, especially when we look at it for paying an extra X amount of dollars for that one truck to run for the day, right? But you could go out and earn $400. You could go out and earn $450. You could go out and earn $500.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, so I don't mess this up and have a whole shitstorm here. But what about the guy that is driving? What if he's busy, if it's like a training moment? Because I know when we double people up, we try to maybe send them with a bulk or send them with somebody different so they learn a skill. So what if the other person isn't earning money because he's spending time training or working with the guy? Do we cover that?
Yes. So the driver of the truck, the assigned driver, gets the ticket pay unless the ticket pay is less than $300, and then we step up and bump his pay up to $300.
He's guaranteed the 3 as well. But we need to talk about this in the steering committee because we had a situation come up. I mean, we might as well just talk freely about it. Yeah, BD? We could talk about this? Do you remember?
I mean, I remember, but I don't.
Okay, if I got to edit this out, tell me. But, I mean,
Okay.
there's really no reason. So we had a driver come to me and say, hey, you know, I don't really like being doubled up. And here's another guy. I got to give him credit. He didn't like it, and he came communicated like, and this is why I don't like to be doubled up, because I'm getting up early to go to Fry to be doubled up, but I'm not really making any extra money doing it. Right? I could come in at 5, you know, and be out of the yard by 6 and be doubled up and make the same amount of money than if I went and got the early Fry load with the guy that wants to go be doubled up. You know, and he brought it to our attention, and we looked at some money, and, you know, that truck, if he made the percentage pay, he would have done a lot better than the $300. So,
And I thought we switched him and paid him the
we
percentage,
we
right?
took care of that driver, but also we need to kind of look, because that was the first time we've really faced that, where
Right.
the guy's like, I'm not making what I should.
What
you
he
know,
could.
What he could.
Right?
Right.
But I thought
Well,
I thought that was the reason we decided that is you get what the truck earns or minimum $300,
Yeah,
right?
we decided that for that day.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that came up for me as well, Jam. The driver texted the rider, hey, taillights at 4:30. But Linda had told the rider, hey, check in with me at 5 o'clock to see if we have any call-outs and I need to place you in a truck.
Gotcha.
And so there was a problem with
Yeah,
that.
there's a couple things we need to iron out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that happened to me. It has happened to me like that. Exactly how you said it, where I tell the driver to be here early and he's not, so that we can make some money. And then we start at 5. We take off at 5:30, which that's late for me. And then dispatch calls, hey, come and get a truck. So then that just
'cause
and it does, but I haven't complained yet about it because it's usually only a day. You know, I'm like, man, there's some days that you guys take a loss for me, and it's like
Most days.
only Wednesdays.
We love you, Paco.
Yeah, I think that's a give and take though, Paco. I mean, that's hopefully it works out for us and you know, eventually, but that's together we're in it. And what if we didn't do any of the steps we're doing?
Right.
You know, we're talking about this openly on the podcast here,
Right.
trying to make it better.
Yeah.
You know, and I do know too, I got to defend a little bit of that. I've heard that same complaint, but when you check the pay, they're not even close to the $300.
Right.
Right. It goes both ways.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, this driver, his situation was actually different because the guy he was doubled up with had an early off too.
No.
Right? So he finished the day out. You know, he did 2 loads by himself. The truck got 7 loads total. The guy that went home early made more money than the rider. So he was just like, it doesn't. But we talked about it. Brother Dave was like, well, that doesn't sound right. Let's fix it.
Yeah.
Right? So just something we probably need to address a little bit more.
Yeah, Jam, the key, you just said it. We talked about it.
Yeah.
And fixed it.
Yeah.
And paid the
That's-
driver.
That's the key.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, too, how many trucks do we have down right now, Dave? I mean, along with our PTO and all that kind
Man,
of
on
stuff.
every day it's between 6 to 8. 6
Yeah.
are blown up. Like
Yeah.
they're off the road.
Yeah, I mean that's it's terrible right now, you
Yeah.
guys. I mean, speaking of Marty, we just lost the computer in his truck yesterday. Had to have it towed in. I don't even know what the availability of those are. Do you, Dave? I mean, because Mikey was like,
was not very positive about it.
no, getting that fixed. So yeah, I just it's a work in progress, I guess, and you have to have a little bit of patience. You have to look at the big picture.
And you have to communicate and be an advocate for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I think you learn that in life, where I think when you're younger, it's just easier to get mad and go, oh, they're screwing me, and quit and go get another job. Where if you're an advocate, we've known after all of these years, I mean, we will hire people, and the first thing they do is go, oh, that other company was screwing me. They screwed with my pay. They messed with my pay. They messed with my pay. If you come talk to us about pay and it's unfair, 99.9% of the time, we're going to side with you and pay you.
No.
Because we know how important that is. And we want to prove to you that we're on your side. You know what I mean? There isn't that us and them. This is a partnership. We have to work together. And man, if we take care of you, we know you are going to take care of us. That's the big picture, right? And do the right thing. It's easy when it's the right thing.
And just to touch on that, jobs are everywhere. I can quit and go get another job tomorrow. We've all heard that. Right. Listen, buddy, after a while, that does not benefit you, because I had an application just the other day. A dude had like 15 jobs in 10 years, and his resume was like 3 pages long, and he might have been proud of the resume because he's done this and done that and everything. And I think out of all those jobs, only 2 he stayed at for a whole year.
Wow.
And I'm like, this dude, I'm not going to waste my time calling him because he's going to quit in 3 months.
Yeah, ultimately, if I recall correctly, when I was doing interviews with you, Dave, we were looking for people that at least would stay a year at a job.
At
You know what I
least.
mean?
Oh,
At
yeah.
least. If you had 3 jobs last year, we're not really interested in bringing you on here this year.
Right. Yep.
And sometimes you probably make a bad decision and hire on, and the job or the company isn't what it was advertised to be, and you made a mistake. But not 15 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you probably look at that, Dave. I'm sure you read through it, and you've showed them to me. It was like the guy was someplace for 5 years or 4 years or whatever it might be, and then there was like a 2-month or a 6-month deal where they went someplace, and you could tell it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then you got that next one. That's exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Not 15 jobs in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
At least you would hope that guy was honest, and that was all the jobs he had, Dave.
There might have been a couple real short ones
Right,
in there.
exactly. But I
list.
mean, back to the guy that Brandon called on yesterday for the job request.
Position, yeah.
Right, and he put on the application that he had worked for us from July of last year until current. So almost been with us the whole year, right? It's almost July,
July,
right?
yeah.
When we looked it up, we hired him in, what was it, Jim? November. It was like November 23rd, and he actually ghosted us.
No, it was like
Oh, it was like October 23rd, and he ghosted us like November 8th or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't even make 60 days.
Right.
Yeah, and yet he falsified federal documents.
Right.
I mean, when you fill out a job application, because this is your CDL, that's a federal license. That's not, even though it says Colorado on it, we're bound by federal regulations. He's falsified documents, and that's a bad guy, and people don't realize that. They don't take everything we do as serious as it is.
I have to question that a lot. Sometimes people will have 3 jobs listed on an application that'll all say current. From February 15 to current.
Yep.
Or present. They say present.
Just haven't quit yet.
Yeah, and I have to say, listen,
Right.
you can't work at this job doing this and this other job doing that. What are the dates? That's an old resume. That's what I get all the time. I should have updated my resume.
Yeah, you should have. Come back when you do.
I'm still at my last 3 jobs currently.
Yes. One's part-time, one's at night, and
Yeah.
here I am.
So just keep in mind when you fill out an application, that's a federal document.
That's what's nice about the clearinghouse. You know what I mean?
That too.
Because that solved the problem of failing a drug test here today,
Yeah.
going down the road
Yeah.
somewhere
yeah.
else next week. And,
Win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Cool.
and we won't complain, but it tightened the pool of drivers. But it got rid of the bad drivers. It makes it better for the good drivers.
It got rid of the bad people.
Yeah, there's so much. Yeah, not drivers, right? The bad
Unfortunately, they
people,
may have
yeah.
been good
Yeah,
drivers. They just do drugs.
Yeah,
they
there's probably some really good drivers that do drugs.
They may actually be a good person that has a drug problem.
Yeah,
True.
I was
Should've-
going to say there's some good drug addicts that are cool.
Yep. Addiction is a tough thing to overcome.
yeah. We've
It
lost some great people to alcohol,
Yep.
and just
Right.
just
Yeah.
couldn't make that choice.
Yeah, I mean, we could go off on a whole tangent about that, but, alcohol is probably one of the biggest killers. You know what I mean? It's just not illegal, so people don't realize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But imagine alcohol being illegal again, and then we can't hire people that drink.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? How many drivers would we have
Would be a
left?
good thing they can smoke weed then.
Right. Exactly.
No Bud Lights.
what would they do? Yeah, how would they advertise that Bud Light? This Bud is for you.
That's a good one, Jim.
Wow. Jim, you want to talk about insurance
Insurance?
renewals?
I'm more out.
Not
Jim.
anymore.
Thanks for joining us. Let's say the creed and get on out
What
of
else
here.
can we talk about?
It's boring.
Insurance. Nobody likes insurance, do they?
Right?
It's kind of like
Right?
lawyers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were just, I'm sure if anybody's paid attention, I think the insurance cards in the trucks expire on the 28th, and we do have new cars and stuff, and we'll get them in the trucks. But obviously we got the renewal for next year, and I know we had an accident yesterday, and we talk about situational awareness, and we're talking about all that stuff, and just like everything, cost of eggs and milk and, vehicles and everything else, our insurance was up. I think it was right at 10%, and then they got us in at 8%, wasn't it, Dave?
When you said 10, I'm like, I thought we got 8.
Yeah, I think I got in at 8%. Anyway, you guys, just to pass along, sometimes we like to talk at the end of the year what kind of money we spent and what things cost. But the insurance for this year, for this coming year, June to June, that's $1.2 million to cover the fleet. So it's and that's some change. That's $1.2 million and some change to cover, and
Which
Rounded
could be
up,
could be
1.3.
Which
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
10,000 or 90,000.
yeah,
That's the change in it, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I guess I like to put that out there that, when, the cost of things, what we're spending, what we look like we make, what we look like we spend, situational awareness, just all the stuff.
Can I ask a question? Because I'm not in your insurance meetings, but do you ever get a break? Like, do they say, listen, this is the premium, but if you have X amount of claims that's less than X amount of dollars, we'll reduce that premium? Do they ever give you a deal like that at all?
Do
You follow?
I do, Dave.
They don't offer it.
Yeah. Well, they do offer it, but I'm going to, knock on wood here. I'm going to talk about it and, brag on everybody. And that's, the next thing here, the wash bay, the mechanics, the way our drivers, this podcast, the team, everything, Dave. We're just about the lowest we can be on our experience mod for workman's comp. So that's a personal safety. And our safety record as far as in the trucks is as low as it can get, Dave. So
that's
if
good.
we were a bad company, yes, there's this area that they could offer us if we reached this. We are at that, Super Dave.
Gotcha.
We are the to the point where people chase us down to get our business because we're just paying them money and they don't have to do a whole lot because we're good, Dave.
Yeah.
Basically what it boils down to. So answer your question, yes, but we've gotten all those. Just like you fill out the deal for work comp, Dave. We've gotten what we can get, and it's the best we can get. And we got some quotes on our auto insurance, and we quite haven't settled yet. Even though we got the new insurance cards, because people are like, you should be able to get this because you're so good.
Well, that makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
It does. and
We are working hard
Yes.
to make that happen.
yes,
Right.
yes.
There's
It's
also
not
some
magic. We work hard for it.
There's also some things behind the scenes too, Dave, that we don't talk about because, when we first started, we had like a $2,500 deductible and our rates were X amount. And then we switched to a $5,000 deductible and we got our rates down a little bit more. Now we're at a $10,000 deductible. So if something happens, JFW pays $10,000. Right? I mean,
anything up to 10 grand.
Yes.
So even you go, oh, that's not a bad accident. 5,000, 2,000, 3,000, 6,000, 7,000
$9,999.
It's our baby.
JFW pays it.
Absolutely.
So to get those premiums down, we're spending more money.
Yep.
Right? And I guess those are one of the things, that's how we've been able to lower or maintain our premiums.
That's one of the items,
Yeah.
yes, that we look serious at.
We actually had one of the insurance guys kind of make the comment that our fleet is a love-hate relationship for them because they love to see us go down the road because our wash bay, coincidentally, wash bay / mechanic week, they keep our trucks such amazing condition and how they look. And the bad side about the insurance company loves to see that, right? Nice, clean, beautiful truck. That's also a flag for people for the accident we had yesterday because instantly we look like we have money. It's like being hit by a Cadillac truck, right?
Yeah. Yep.
People instantly, they're like, oh, look at that truck. It's beautiful versus like that butthead that was parked in front of our building 2 weeks ago that threw his garbage out with
The Johnny
a
Cash
white
truck.
hood and a blue truck and, a different trailer. And I mean, that guy, if he hit me, I'd be like, oh my God, I survived. I got to get the hell out of here. Right? Last thing you'd want is to be even related to him. Somebody hit us in a nice truck. You're like, oh, that guy's got money.
Yeah.
Let's sue. Right. So, just to refresh on that accident we had yesterday, we had a guy that he was distracted driving. Thank goodness he wasn't on his phone. That's the blessing of it. He wasn't on his phone, but he was distracted driving. He was on the interstate. He was milling around with his fingernails or just almost like a nervous tick, right? Like
Highway 85.
Oh, Highway 85. I'm sorry. I thought it was I-76, Jim. Highway 85, right? So come to a complete stop in traffic, and all it was not paying attention and lifted his foot off the brake a little bit, and the urge to move decided to go and bumped the car in front of him. Just like Jam said earlier, it didn't even register speed on Samsara.
0 miles an hour.
We hit this guy at 0 miles an hour is what the camera says, right? Even though there's a few second delay, it may have got to 1 mile an hour, Jam, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Either way, we hit him at 0 or 1.
But, yeah.
We still hit this guy.
It's like
right?
bumping into somebody in an elevator.
Yeah. We weren't doing our job, but every billboard you go past on the highway, every commercial you see, were you hit by a big truck? Well, guess what? Yeah, god dang you were. We just hit you yesterday.
Do you not know if you're injured? We'll tell you that you are.
Exactly. So, the guy's got a free pass. This is this guy's hall pass to sue us. And I guarantee you, this guy got out. He's telling the driver his neck hurts. He's crawling under the car saying, you bent my frame. Yeah. We literally, you couldn't hit this guy any softer. Right? This is one of those accidents, just like Jim said. It's like bumping someone getting on the elevator and going, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I bet he's hit potholes harder.
Oh,
right
my gosh.
now.
If he's been on the road in the last
our roads, you bet.
30 days with all the rain, right?
Right.
I smacked
Yeah.
my wife on her butt harder than that.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But that's the world we're living in.
Yeah.
These are the things. Our insurance company is going to have to fight that.
Yeah.
It will probably go to court.
Yeah.
Most likely,
Yep.
everyone knows lawyers.
$300 an hour.
Oh, shit, that's cheap, Dave.
Yeah.
The attorneys IPOC has, they're $500 to $600 per hour now.
I want to be an
So,
IPOC attorney.
so you put in 10 hours, there's $6,000.
Right.
Right? it is ridiculous the amount of money this stuff costs. So the insurance company knows it's harder to fight that. They'll pay that guy $10,000
Just to go away.
Go away.
just to go
and
away.
And it's cheap. But the thing is, he doesn't deserve it.
He doesn't.
Nope.
He doesn't. And we're getting to the point in the world where at some point it's kind of like the woke thing being stood up against Bud Light and Target. At a certain point, we need to fight a little more. We need to fight a little harder. We as people need to stand up and go, that's wrong. That should go to court. We should pay an attorney. We should fight that. And we should sue for damages against him to pay our attorney's fees.
100%.
And that would start eliminating those things from happening.
Right.
But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so would those guys you call under the table to visit him at midnight.
Wow.
Put put a horse head in his bed or something.
Dave.
Wow.
Man,
That would stop that.
Most
dude.
people aren't even going to know what the Godfather movies are, Dave. Oh my gosh.
Classics.
Does somebody need some help with something?
Oh man.
Yeah.
I would love that. Jim and I were just talking about all the graffiti driving in. You know, they hit this building down here on 56th and Vasquez again, and I mean, it's all across the bottom, 6 foot, 8 foot tall letters, and man, you just love to catch those people one time.
Yeah,
and
you're
just one time.
destroying somebody else's property. But what I always laugh at, we had sit and watched a train go by, and you know how badly the trains are graffitied.
Yeah.
But some of those people are so talented.
Oh, I
So
know.
talented, and you're like, with a spray paint can, you can do that, you know. And I'm like, is there just a waste of talent?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
my
know,
buddy.
Is there a better avenue to showcase that?
Yeah,
My buddy runs Orange Crush, which is this. I'm not going to describe it properly, but he is a graffiti artist. They actually get walls that they're allowed to do artwork on.
Yeah.
And the things that they do are amazing. Amazing.
yes, yes. And I'd love to see that. I love those walls when they do that.
I bet he
Jim.
turned $30 into $300 by going to work.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Not just
Have you guys seen the building?
defiling someone's property.
Headed I-25 South. It'll be on the east side. Before 6, there's a building on the left that's constantly getting
Oh,
its
yeah.
windows broke out. It's like one of those WeWork places.
It's right by Spear. It's before Spear. Jim.
Yeah.
It's not nearly down to 6th
Yeah,
Avenue.
they're
but
constantly fixing that building.
we were just past there Sunday, and my wife goes past it every day, and she's like, "Oh man, they just cleaned all the graffiti off of
My
it."
wife brought it up too.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's terrible, and that's exactly what it is. One of those WeWork buildings
Yeah.
where you can just go in and rent an
Office
office
share.
for a
It's
day.
like an office share.
yeah, or
yeah.
a week or whatever, an office share. Yeah, and it is a gorgeous building,
Yeah.
all brown brick.
Yeah, the graffiti's one thing, but they're breaking the windows too.
Oh wow!
You know, so I was like, they just need to put bulletproof windows up there.
I bet that's not cheap.
Probably cheaper than fixing windows every week.
Yeah,
You know, if the building's going to be there for
I think they just need to put a sniper on the other side of the highway, and poof, we're done.
a couple pit bulls.
Right?
See, you're with me on the Charles Bronson movies.
I am, man. There's a reason there's vigilante justice. It is still justice. This is a rough podcast.
I love this podcast. Well, are you good on the insurance, Jim?
Yeah.
Jimmy V wants to jump in on the low road here. He's actually not on the low road. He's on the high road.
Thanks for helping us out, Jimmy. We
Yeah.
need some lifting.
He's definitely not on the low road. He's on the high road, but he ain't BSing either. Good morning, Jim. I just want to put out there as a reminder on the podcast, if possible, if a driver is at the main yard and has an issue with their truck, they need to walk over and look for one of our friendly and helpful mechanics. One of 3 things could be the reason the driver doesn't do this. Maybe because the trainer never explained this to them. A. B is lack of common sense. Or C, just plain lazy. Anyway, let's be engaged and have a great podcast day. Thanks, Jimmy V.
Yeah, no, that's
I
awesome.
think that's all what we talk about, Jam. And it's not, it's not the common sense. It's not the lazy. It's the easy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the easy, which I know looks like laziness, but it's easy. I feel like it's a good time to throw it in, and no ding. I know our next discussion is to talk about the mechanics in Wash Bay. And those guys all do an amazing job. But we've had donuts, and didn't we have like burritos here
I think
for
there
them?
was wraps or burritos too, or
Dinner. I know there was a lot
There
of
was some item shaped like a burrito wrapped in foil in the refrigerator.
right.
Don't know what it was, Jim. Could be a wrap, could be a burrito.
And I know there was donuts, and the donuts. There was a lot of donuts, and the
Snack
donuts
box.
disappear and stuff like
that's
that.
empty.
And that's and that's to celebrate. So I'm making breakfast right quick this morning before the podcast, and there's the box of donuts sitting there, and I'm like, oh, I wonder how many's left. And I open it up, and the box is empty. And it just like goes through me. How can you take the last donut and just leave the box? It's free donuts. There's trash cans all over the place, and you don't have enough common sense to throw the box away? I mean, put the card back. I mean, Dave, we can go kill a lot of people, but we'd end up killing a lot of people.
Jim, you've worked here for 40
I don't know, coming up on
It'll be 41 years.
41 years. So I know this has happened to you. You come in, you use the bathroom, the paper towel dispenser's empty. So you go, you get the paper towels.
And the doorknob's wet.
Doorknob's wet. Then you go to get a drink of water and a 5-gallon water. So you do that, right? Then you go to do something else, and it's just like, am I the only one that changes the paper towels around here?
Right.
Thank you, Jam, for putting soap in the soap dispenser yesterday.
Yeah, so so I go to change the soap out in the kitchen, the little.
Yeah.
And man, I'm like, okay, I think I know where the soap's at. It's in the utility room, right? So I go get it. And then I'm trying to open the dispenser, and I'm like, I know me, that's going to be off the wall here in a minute. Like I just break stuff. I'm like pushing down and doing this. So I go to Brother Dave, because he loves problems without solutions. I'm like, hey, Brother Dave, I got a problem without a solution. And he's like, great. That was funny. So he changed it. He's like,
Hey, those things are hard. I've run into the same problem, and Dave showed me too. And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's all? You just push this little button up, and the whole front flops down?
But is it the one with the bag and the phallic tube in the bottom, and you kind of squeeze the tube and milk it and get it going? Yeah, I don't personally like changing it.
But that button is hidden, man.
It is.
It doesn't
It is.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like a complaint session, but yeah, I mean, I like one of my pet peeves here at work, because I'm just about to start bringing my own silverware in, is you take silverware off the dry mat and there's still food on it. It's like, okay, I guess I'll clean your dishes too.
Right. Yeah. But the thing is, Jem, it's amazing we have forks, because you've worked here long enough. How many times have we bought bundles of 20 and 30 and 50 forks, and we're low again?
Huh.
You know,
where do they go?
I don't know.
They're
Yeah,
gone.
I'd say a good once every year or so, Jim.
Yeah, we have to.
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is no big deal. I think Holly stopped and got some at wherever. I know Linda
Linda's
brought
a
a
rock
bunch
star
of.
from garage sales. She hits a garage sale, and it's like, oh, there's 30 forks.
Yeah,
Poof.
and
That's
bring them
weird. I'm using the same forks that I had when I moved into my condo back in 2008.
Right. Maybe you're missing one. That you took in your lunch.
Pretty sure they're all there.
I still have the matching set from.
No, I bought 2 sets.
Who's
what,
got 8?
What was the pizza place? Shakey's. Shakey's. You used to get the salt and pepper dispensers and like all of that stuff from Shakey's.
Yeah, that's funny. Danielle was over, and Tyler's grandfather passed away, and then his mom is in a care unit. But so they're going through the house. And I had no idea, and then Tyler said he remembered eating at Arby's a lot when during the winter. But Arby's, maybe somebody knows that, but his grandfather had a whole collection of like highball glasses, whiskey glasses, all this stuff. They're all from Arby's. They gave out a winter collection all the winter if you ate there.
I bet Scooby's got that set.
He's got the Arby's winter collection, and I'm just like, who knew about the glasses from Arby's?
Scooby, send in your photos. I bet you got it.
Yep, weird stuff.
Yeah, crazy.
What
All
do
right,
we do?
we're going to talk about how awesome the mechanics are in the wash bay for Appreciation Week.
I would love to do that. They're awesome.
They are awesome.
We've been clapping downstairs when we see like Gabe or Dustin Jr. come. We just start
Yeah.
clapping.
Oh, that's
good.
awesome.
Giving
Yeah,
a
that's a
round of
good one.
applause.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What's
Yeah.
so awesome about it?
I think, like we've said, Dave, I was going to bring up. I had a story. We went to talking about insurance. We went to a insurance renewal quote presentation, right?
Yeah.
Monday, and drove clear to Greeley. Flood and Peterson is the agency. Great people. They've stepped up. They've done a lot for us. They're informative. They're helpful. And we went through the office and met several people, plus the people we met with. There would be our agent, I assume, Eric, right? The president, Brett, and then there was a team of people that work on what might happen, what if somebody happens, if you have an accident, Jam, like you deal with, and anyway, the whole team. But every one of those people said, "I know your trucks. They're beautiful and they're clean. I can't believe how you clean your trucks are. I can't believe." Every one of them knew our trucks, and it wasn't like to make us a sale. They
Yeah.
were genuine about it, because I live in Greeley, or I see your trucks on I-25, I see your trucks on 85. It wasn't the baloney kind of
point
thing.
them out.
Right.
Yeah, they point them out. They knew where we were at. So
They're always clean.
always clean.
And I can't believe they're running.
Right? So that's and I know that's the small piece with the wash bay, but they're out on the road. So
Right.
there's the mechanics piece of it.
Man.
You see them, and we talk about how many we have broke down has nothing to do with our mechanics.
Right.
Right.
To watch those guys just bust it out, there's days where they're working, but I mean, lately it's just been like they're doing everything they can to keep the trucks afloat.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what's crazy is I call it the behind the scenes that the drivers aren't aware of.
Right.
All of the maintenance that goes on that a driver is not aware of, as far as just the truck being greased, right?
Right.
I mean, those are major components that need greased. A driver doesn't write that up. A driver isn't aware of it. You know what I mean? They get upset like if their steering wheel is dirty. Somebody was in my truck. Like, yeah, we greased it, we serviced it, we did all the things to make that vehicle safe, and we'll get better if we left some grease on your wheel. We'll clean it next time. You know what I mean? Right. And I get that. I'm digressing, right? Because I kind of tough not to, because you hear complaints about that stuff. But anyway, the oil changes, the air filter changes, just the general maintenance that we do on a weekly, monthly, daily basis to keep that equipment running, that is almost some of the most major things that need done, right? I mean, we used to lose U-joint after U-joint after U-joint prior to Mikey coming on board and starting our maintenance program. And we're like, why are we losing those U-joints? It's like, because there's no grease in them, right? That's the fundamental thing. When you have an item that moves, you need to grease it. It needs lubrication. So, I mean, just things like that. I mean, we had lost the little drive shaft between the two rear ends. It's called a jack shaft. I mean, we had lost U-joints in those, and going down the highway at speed at 55 or 60 and throw that jack shaft out when the U-joint comes out, and destroyed air lines and valves and frame rails, and the drive shaft come out and hit a car. And I mean, just nightmare stuff that you just can't get past. And those are the things that I don't want to label anyone, but a lot of people don't know that's the maintenance that's being taken care of, right? They're the guys looking for the wheel seals, and they're not just looking for a trace down the wheel or the tire when they pull the truck in. They're shining a flashlight in and looking at the hub. If there's even a tiny amount of oil coming out, they're throwing wheel seals in that thing.
Yep.
Right? I mean, when was the last time we had a wheel seal go out during the middle of the day? Virtually never.
Yeah.
I mean, just virtually never. And that used to happen. And I'm not saying it can't or it doesn't, but I mean, when you look at how many wheel ends we have on the ground running every day, I mean, what that shop does is just amazing. And we just can't speak high enough about the wash bay. I'm so super excited that we have our own people washing now over at Yard 23. I mean, those trucks have never looked better. We were able to start that during the summer last year. We want to be a little fuller into it and go a little longer into the year this year, as long as we can with
we
the
have
weather.
lights over there this year. The lights will help a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. They just, probably may not be able to wash on into November or December.
Yeah, it's just too cold. Yeah.
Yeah, yep, exactly. We're not quite geared for it at night, right? Maybe if it was daytime and, above freezing temperatures, we could do that. But at night, it's pretty tough to do. So, yeah, I mean, gosh, all the mechanics and all the wash bay, we're so appreciative of all those guys. They make it look easy.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's when we look at it, because we've done both. I know Super Dave, you've washed, you've greased. When we first started, we had to, change our own tires, all that kind of stuff. How we've evolved, and I think it's a partnership too. That, the mechanics are looking for the wheel seals. They've probably caught a lot of tires. They might see your pigtail pulled out, catch it before it really quits working and all that kind of stuff. But remember too, as we're all working together and we're appreciating the mechanics in the wash bay, you could drive a little slower through a mud puddle. It makes the wash bay's truck's job so much easier.
Go around a pothole.
Yep. Not turn so tight with the truck.
Yep.
So you're not pulling, the tarp wire, the electrical plug. You may not brake so hard or accelerate so hard, wear some tire wear, into the corners. There's all that stuff that makes it easier on each one of us. And I know with the addition of the mechanics and the team we've really made it easy on the drivers compared to how we used to do it. Not other places, but how we used to do it. because we, like you've mentioned, Super Dave, we'd get together and change a set of drives on a weekend, or we had to grease, or we'd help each other grease, or you were trying to wash on a Sunday, or we'd try to go by one of the wash places and get our trucks washed, and all that kind of stuff. And we've really elevated ourselves, but that's because we have good people and good processes, and we care about each other. And I think that's sometimes when we really get to complaining, it's that person that's not doing it right really stands out because we have so many people doing it right.
Good point, Jim.
You know, and it's like, it is like hitting that gate that one time, but we've been past the gate 10,000 times.
Yeah.
But it really stands out, and I think that's, if you come here as a new driver or you are a current driver, there is a little bit of pressure to meet our standards.
Yeah.
We expect. I mean, Paco just stood here and bragged about Jason. He set the bar.
Right.
And that's tough to live up to that because you really have to pay attention. I'm sure there's nights you got to get out of here and, have dinner with the wife, or you got a kids event or something like that, and things change, but it's how you do it all the time.
Yep.
Is the important thing. And I think we have mechanics in Wash Bay that are doing it right.
Yeah, for sure, Jim, for sure. It still goes back to that skill problem versus will problem. And I'm kind of jumping off of mechanics in Wash Bay, but back to drivers. We've done a pretty good job at giving you the skill. We have taught you that skill. You know what I mean? JR starts day one, your very first day in orientation. We're teaching you the skills you need to be successful here. And I think we do an amazing job at it. I think JR and Scooby and Kendrick and Casey and those guys.
Super Dave starts with Super Dave, right?
Yeah. I mean, and we've presented those skills. We've given them to you. But even though we've given you that skill, if you're not willing to use it, it's a waste of time for both of us.
And then
it's not a good look. And I guess, I want to tie it back to the, like the Wash Bay, for example. And you guys brought, hey, help the Wash Bay out and drive around to that mud puddle one time, or slow down going down that awful muddy road. And I guess here's my reason why, you could take and run down that dirt road at 50 miles an hour and absolutely destroy the truck and trailer, right? I mean, let's face it, right now it's bad out with the dirt roads and all the rain. It's horrible. But if you slowed down to 30 down that dirt road and the truck was half as bad, and the Wash Bay only needed an hour to wash that truck versus 3 hours, so that night they could wash 13 trucks instead of 10.
Exactly.
So you just got 3 more trucks washed for the night. That makes you look better, not just Jim or Dave or JFW. You're looking better as a whole, as a fleet, right? I mean,
that's the whole pizza pie, though.
Right, exactly, Jim. And you need to look at that. And I guess, like you said, Jim, we have so many people doing it right. The ones who aren't really do stick out.
Yeah.
They really do. And it still boils down to a will problem. We've given you the skill. You need to have the will to utilize those skills now.
Yeah, and all I wanted to mention was on that is that we've given you all the skills. Then we have Jam for 3 or 4 weeks after you've been on, checking that you're okay with those skills.
Right.
So you have the opportunity to go, I missed this. I'm not doing good at this. I didn't understand this. We give you all that opportunity to do it on the back end that we've given you on the front end.
Right.
So where is the point that you can't succeed?
Right.
Because you don't have the will.
Yeah.
Just what it boils down to. So yeah, the mechanics in Wash Bay, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Great job. Glad there's, I wish going through this, I wish there didn't have to be days to celebrate people. I wish you could just celebrate people every day.
Yeah.
And have the warmth that, you're doing a great job and we appreciate that. So,
absolutely.
It doesn't have to be your week or your day. You do a great job all year long.
You could celebrate every day. Bring them donuts every day.
You could. I'd be throwing a box away every day. And I don't even know who did it, Paco. I'm just saying.
Whether you're a janitor or a CEO, everybody craves significance and validation.
Yeah.
We all want to feel like not all of us, but a lot of people want to feel like they're being productive and that they have a significant role here. And it's nice to get that validated.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
We try and make that perfectly clear, I think, Jim, that every position here is important. every single one, because man, you break a link in that chain and we're screwed.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. There's a breakdown.
I have
You have a couple recordings to play?
yeah, I have a recording I like to play. We have some other people here that would like to thank the mechanics in Wash Bay, and we'll be right back.
Hey, I just want to give a huge thanks to all the mechanics and everyone in the Wash Bay. They make our trucks look great and run great, so thank you all.
Hey guys, this is Amber. I just want to tell you guys thank you for everything that you guys do. For everyone here at JSW, you guys keep everything running, everything together. Without you guys, it would be hard to make the system run. I just wanted to tell you I appreciate everything that you guys do for all of us, and I hope you guys have a great week. I do want to let you guys all know, for the week, we are going to be doing a raffle each week for all of you guys, so just make sure to stay tuned, and also we will send you a text for the winner. Happy winnings. Good luck. Thank you guys for everything.
Hey, all you mechanics and Wash Bay people. I just want to say this is Joanne up in HR and payroll. I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do, all your hard work, keeping our trucks running and keeping our trucks looking beautiful. You guys do a great job, and we so appreciate you. We couldn't do it without you. I do want to make a little correction to Amber. We will be doing a raffle each day this week only. So just be watching your emails and stuff, and we will send out the winners through email. Thanks so much, guys.
Hello, everybody. It's Linda. Wanted to say thank you to our unsung heroes in the shop in the Wash Bay. You get it done, you make it look easy, and we keep trucking. The Wash Bay does an awesome job making us look good out there on the road. You guys really are the best. Thank you all. And a special shout out to Mitch for changing my oil and going the extra mile and filling up my washer fluid. Thank you.
Good morning, Shop and Wash Bay. I would like to thank the Wash Bay for keeping our fleet spotless, shiny, and clean. Also, I'd like to thank the mechanics for keeping our trucks out on the road and your endless support for the drivers and just making us run every day. Thank you guys very much.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Mechanics and Wash Bay Appreciation Week, guys. Appreciate everything you guys do. You guys are awesome to work with. Keeping the trucks, or at least trying to keep the trucks all up and going for all these all of our drivers to go out there and make our company some money there. Wash Bay trucks are always looking great every time you guys are done with them, and it really shows when we see them out there on the road. Thank you, guys.
Good morning, Wash Bay and mechanics. I would like to tell you guys thank you for keeping our fleet moving and keeping our trucks nice and shiny while out on the road. And thank you, everybody, for your hard work and dedication.
Just wanted to give a shout out to all of our mechanics in our Wash Bay, especially over at Yard 23 in the Wash Bay area. We've got Josh and Travis do a great job with keeping our trucks looking nice. Even with the muddy yard and stuff, they just do a fantastic job working out there at night with limited light. So greatly appreciate you guys and all you do. And for our mechanics, always appreciate Mikey and everything that he does and his guidance and keeping our trucks running. And also up for Chris and Ricky. Greatly appreciate you guys. Also over at Yard 23, we have Little John and Marco. And greatly appreciate you guys and all you do. And again, how many trucks you guys are able to take care of at night and keep us running during the day. So thanks a lot for all that you guys do.
Hey, everybody. I just want to thank the mechanics and the Wash Bay guys for all the hard work they do. It's amazing what they have to put up with at night and in the daytime, and all the running around and making sure trucks are running, and the Wash Bay guys out there in the cold and in the dark and trying to make everything happen. You guys are awesome. Thank you for everything.
Hey guys, it's Ann. Thanks so much to the Wash Bay and mechanics for doing an amazing job.
All right. Those were awesome.
Yeah, that was really good.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Once again, we appreciate all you guys do for us. Guys and girls, thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Something I wanted to talk about with Paco coming on, and you guys will see why here in a little bit, but wanted to talk about the decline of trade or trade workers. I did a little research on this. The big picture of trades, and when we say trades, we mean electricians, plumbers, truck drivers, any trade workers, right? Any skill that you've gone to school or training for that you make a living at is considered a trade. Welders would be another one, stuff like that. The big picture, older workers in the skilled trades are retiring, and not enough young people are training up to take their jobs as construction workers, plumbers, electricians, and beyond. The construction industry faces a gap of 500,000 workers. The gap is expected to widen as federal money flows into new infrastructure projects around the country, calling for even more labor. The application rate for technical jobs like plumber and electrician dropped by 49% between 2020 and 2022. The pandemic also delivered a blow to technical education. Enrollment in vocational degree programs fell as a lot of these courses leaned on hands-on learning and didn't work well in a remote world. Pox, what do you think about all that?
Yep, the same thing I was reading about the decline, especially that part about the pandemic. It was at least a couple of years before anybody was able to go back in to do any hands-on training like electrician or anything.
Okay.
And like electrician, it's like 5 years, like 4 or 5 years. You got to put in a lot of hours on it, and so say you're missing 2 years out of that, it just adds even more to that gap. So yeah,
okay,
I agree with that.
Now, last time you were on the podcast, you were involved in Hope for My City, and I feel like, did you have a table set up there and you were talking to the community about trades?
No, so I just spoke on it.
Okay.
We didn't have a table or nothing. This year that's the goal, to have a table, a lot of tables actually.
So what is Trades for My Community? Is that an organization?
Well, I'm pretty much just the messenger. So it was an idea of, do I say how I started?
Yeah. What is are you the founder of Trades for My Community?
Well, like I said, I'm the messenger. I just had an idea. So my wife was speaking to a little girl one time, and she's from a community, and she was saying, she was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And the little girl said, I want to be a Walmart cashier. And not that it's bad. Besides, there's really none anyways. Everything,
It's a job that's being eliminated.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's just so crazy that their world is so small.
Her dream was little.
Yeah, but it's not the fact that it was a bad dream or nothing, but she just don't know anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And me being from a community like that, I got raised in places like that where we really don't know too much. I came up with the idea. So like, hey, Pastor, next year when we do Hope for My City, why don't we set up some tents with people that have done trades, and we bring them like the amount of money that they make. Also, we look for something where we could point them in the right direction where they could get a trade and get it paid for free. It's not everybody has money for trades, And so that's where the idea came from on that part.
So you are the founder of Trades for My Community.
Sounds like it to me.
I don't know, just a messenger.
Sounds like the chairman of the board.
You're very humble.
You need a better title.
I understand where the humbleness comes from, but this was your idea. I'm hoping it becomes a big thing, and it's not just an idea. I hope it is an actual organization, and it grows and grows, and it helps people in the community. So we know what drove you to do this. Why do you have a heart to help people in the community? Like, what do you get out of that?
Because I never had that help. So me growing up I was born in Chicago. And then I was raised in El Paso, Texas, and lived in the government apartments in El Paso, Texas, and right next to Juarez. And it was bad there. Like, it was bad. So there's this saying about, I think I've told you, Brother Dave, one time, where it's all like, we don't make mistakes. It's just a reaction to what we know. And what I knew there was violence and drugs. You know, like I never had none of the homies that worked. Nobody worked around me. They didn't have jobs. Like it was all like, you hustle, you make money, and that's it. So I'd see people, you know, with nice cars, and none of them worked. You know, and being raised in a community like that, I'm like, man, like a lot of people, that's where they come from. Luckily, and it's not luckily, but I ended up in prison. I did 5 years, and all this trades and stuff is in prison. And we don't really have it out here in the communities. It's there, but they don't know about it. And we know about it once we get locked up. And it's like damn, like you have to get locked up to be able to get something like this for free. This is our money. Like this is a lot of this is taxpayer money, you know, to try to better somebody else. But we don't find this. I didn't find it till I went to prison. Like, hey, you know, you could do welding. And I think Ray spoke about the heavy equipment, you know.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we need to take this out there to the community, to these kind of communities where I got raised from, where I didn't know any better. And it wasn't a mistake. It was because I didn't know. Like, I didn't really get raised by a dad, and my older brothers were up to other things, you know. So I never knew about work at all. Now I'm trying to teach my kid that, you know, about work. And I had a little thing that I wanted to talk to about Marty and Coleman about that. I don't know if it's the right time.
Marty and Coleman? Yeah, I mean, you're going to talk about your event and...
Yeah, so let me start with Marty and Coleman. So it's kind of a funny story with Marty. I remember when I first started, I went to Plant 12, and I would see him take the back road. And one time I was like, hey, Marty, can I follow you? Oh, sí, hijito, come on, you know. And so some of my first drives...
I just don't want to interrupt. Could you keep up?
Yeah, he waited for me.
Oh, okay, he waited for you.
Nice.
He's kind of a speedy guy.
Yeah, he's bad.
For his age, he's fast.
Yeah,
bad.
So
Bad.
Sorry, Paco.
So I followed him, and that was some of my first times here at JFW. And he's retiring now, and I'm like you guys. I think he is retiring now, because before, in a month or two before his retirement, he would be like, "Oh no, Hito, I'm gonna stay," and this and that. So now it's like 7 days, and he's still saying he's gonna retire. So yesterday, he asked me what way I take the back route, because now I'm doing Plant 12.
It's because he forgot.
No, it's because you know why? Because he's fast, and I smoked him.
Oh.
So on the way over here, he took 104th. That's his route, and it's been his route for a long time. I took 136th, and then just came down Tower, you know.
Yeah.
And so I beat him. He's probably like, no. He's like, hey, Hito, how are you getting back? Because 270 is probably bad. And then I was all like, so I tell him, and he's behind me, you know, and he followed me this time, right before he broke down. So
That's the reason his truck broke. It's not used to following anybody.
It's because he couldn't keep up. But it's so funny and so crazy that I followed him the first time, and it's gonna be his last days, and now he was following me. You know,
Yeah.
And I remember pulling up just bull crapping and telling him, "Hey, you know, Plant 12 is gonna be mine." And he's like, "Oh yeah, Hito, when I leave, this is you'll be Little Pepper." And I was all, and now I am. I'm hardwired to Plant 12.
That's funny. That's awesome.
Did he say, grasshopper, you are now the teacher?
He handed me a pepper. So you
Got a little keychain.
But that was so cool. And my thing about mentioning him is now I'm going to get to Coleman. You know, Coleman is a young driver. Like, he has done it all already. It was a funny joke where I was talking to one of my friends. He's all like, "Hey, what's up with Coleman? That dude's doing everything. Like, he's doing water tanks. He's doing the flatbed. He's going out of town." He's all like, "Hey," I told him, "Hey, dude, you need to chill. You haven't even got your benefits yet." You know, And so part of me, like, shout outs to Coleman. That he's a badass, and I trained him. That's why he's so good.
It's because you have the pepper.
Yeah, because they passed the pepper down. And then so part of this traits for my community thing is just they remind me a lot of how we're supposed to be. We're supposed to start like a Coleman and end up like a Marty. Like they're badasses. I do look up a lot to Marty. He is humble. I know he got his crap together like to the fullest. Like, he's told me like financially, and just he's still married and everything. And that's how I want to end up like that. And in that health, like he looks great to me, for being, what is it, 90?
75.
75. He does.
He's
he does.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
He looks good.
I agree.
He does.
And that's how I want to end up.
Little man crush, right?
Yeah. That's how I got Marty tattooed on me. But that's how I want to end up.
Yeah.
I wish that I would have started like a Coleman, from that age, already being as good as he is. And so that's kind of what I want to bring to the community. I want people to learn from an early age, like, hey, there's opportunity out there to start making big bucks, to start doing good. And numbers are the ones that talk, and I know I want to give a shout out to me, because I think I still got 10 people that I've trained are still here.
Really?
And
Nice.
most of them are the top earners. I feel like there's Big Hungry, Chili Willy, or whatever you guys call him.
Chili dog.
Dog. Jack, Jesus Varela, Omar Reyes. I know he's a good driver. Johnny. I know.
Oh, wow. You trained Johnny?
Yeah, on Kobe. He just shadowed me the whole time.
So you've named two guys that are actually good. No, I'm just kidding. They're all great. Those are all great guys.
They are. They're all great.
Yeah.
Every out of them 10, I don't know if is Benny still here. I haven't seen him.
Yeah, Benny's here.
Yeah.
Benny Gonzalez?
Yep.
See, I trained him, Emilio, the rock truck.
Yeah. Camacho.
I think a lot of them are some of the top earners. I don't know if they're like on the 10th or what.
We need you to train everybody from now on.
All right.
Money talks. So I am pretty good at that. At
You got a
showing
good
people-
retention rate.
showing people where it's because money talks. Like you can't just be, look, if you last long here. I right away when I trained, I talk about money. This is how much you can make. Be here at 4:30. Be here at 4:15. We're gonna be up there. Even if we have to wait, we're gonna be the first ones to get loaded. And so, with this traits for my community, I want to show numbers. I want to show the real numbers. You Google a truck driver salary, I think it's like
55,000.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not right. I have friends that are electricians, and here it says like 50 or 60,000. That's not right. A lot of these trades that I want to bring, it's 100,000 and more.
Right.
And you can make that. Plumbers, electricians, and that's like straight beginning.
Right.
Like we make a certain amount of money here, but we are here. You could probably make more over the road, but I'd rather be here. And yeah, and you're right. There's some. I had a friend that was over the road. He wasn't even making close to what I was making. I was getting him probably like about 20,000 more working here for JFW.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are over-the-road gigs that you can make a lot of money at, right? But when you start off over the road working for Stevens Transport, now, I started there, and it was 1999. We were getting paid 22 cents a mile, right? 3,000 miles was a good week. That's $660. I mean, I think they might be 27 cents a mile now. I mean, they're not paying 50 cents a mile. You know what I mean? But even still, I mean, that's, if they were 50 cents a mile for a company driver and you got 3,000 miles, if you got that in a week, that's $1,500. You can make that here easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, doing
and that's that $72,000
writer
tournament.
Being a writer, you could make that here.
Yeah.
Right, you can.
Watching TikTok.
78,000. I just did the math.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, something I want to just clarify on that, Paco, because I know you keep bringing up the money and the money and the money, but you're successful because of the other things you do here that help you make the money.
The jokes.
Because you post-trip your truck, right? You keep it full of oil. You write up the things that are wrong with it so the night crew can fix it. You're on top of your game. You're not just showing up and getting behind the wheel to earn money. There's a whole bevy, there's a whole list of things, and obviously the guys that you've trained, because every one of those guys you mentioned are rock stars, you've trained them to do that as well. Those guys aren't calling in on the first round after they got loaded and going, I have a flat tire, it's off the bead. You know what I mean? Because they left the yard with a tire that had 20 pounds of air, and the minute they got loaded, it knocked it off the bead. None of those guys are calling in with those problems because you've taught them how to be successful here. Not just to earn money, you've taught them how to earn money, how to go get that early load, how to coordinate your day and be successful. And there's more to it than just coming to work, you know?
Yeah, well, one of the funny things was little Dustin. You know, I told him, I got money that you won't find nothing. So that's one thing that I do like, that the mechanics, what is it, every 3 weeks or a month that they do a inspection on your truck?
It's between 2 and 3 weeks.
And so I play with them, him or whoever tells me that that's what they're going to do. I'll be like, I'll bet you money you ain't going to find nothing. and I've always done that. I'm going on 5 years here, and that's my thing, and be like, hey, I got money that you're not going to find nothing.
That's cool.
But yeah, that is part of that. But I'm saying that when I begin, the main focus is money, because we get a job because we want to make money. You know, and a lot of times they come in, they think that being a truck driver, you're going to ball hard just because they don't know the work that it's got to be put in. And like I was talking to Coleman, I told him it has a lot to do with you guys, with how you guys are as a person, you know. So it's not like I taught you how to be a badass. I was like, but I can't be getting lucky 10 times, you know. I was like, there's still 10 drivers and they're all badass. Like if you look them up one day, super, and they're all of them are good. They're great drivers. I know, I'm positive that not one of them leave here before after 5. Maybe one of them, the rock truck, but that's because they got their own little thing going, you know.
Yeah.
But 9 out of them 10, I bet they leave before 5. Like I'll be coming down to drop a load in plant 12, and people are still barely calling in, like coming out the south gate. And I'm like, damn, dude, like I'm already dumping. I'm already $65 up.
Right.
And you're just leaving.
Yeah.
And that's a day. That's daily, you know. So in a weekly, that's, well, you're the math guy. $300, you know.
Yeah, we say it all the time. You eat what you kill around here.
Yeah.
So you're eating more because you're killing more, Paco.
Yep.
You know, you want to do the math. I mean, we also say 1 extra load a day around here. I mean, it's more now before all the bumps and the raises and everything we've done. You know, 5 years ago, 1 load around here is 10 to 13 grand a year. You know, so if you're a $60,000 a year guy or girl and you want to make over 70, go get that extra load. Same thing, if you're already making 70, you want to make 80, go get that extra load.
And that was a couple years ago, like
and
you said.
That was a couple
Jan,
years
before
ago.
all
That
the
was,
bumps.
yeah, so, I mean, it's easy to get a raise around here. You just got to work more.
Well, I started, I think it was 2018 when I started here, and I told this story last time, but there wasn't a lot of listeners. So I'm saying it again. I remember my first year, I made like 67,000 or something like that. That was my first year, and
you probably thought that was good.
No, I was kind of pissed. So Ivan trained me, and I even talked smack to Ivan. I was all like, because I learned, you know, like quick. I was all, okay, what do I got to do to make more money? And it was getting that first load. It was just like 1 extra load. The next year, I made 87,000. I made
20,000 more.
Yeah, it was like 19,000 something. You know, almost $20,000 extra in a year for getting an extra load, and sometimes getting, not all the time, but sometimes getting that one at the end too. And I talked smack to Ivan. I was all like, "Down, dude! Like you couldn't have told me this. Like you couldn't have told me like be here." When I got trained, it was like just make sure you're here before 5:30. Like when I train these guys, I tell them, hey, be there like at 4:30, 4:15. You're one of the first ones. So I was like, you're going to have to wait like 30, 40 minutes to get loaded. I was like, but you're gonna be the first one. And like if you're in Morton and you just look to the back, if you're one of the first ones to get loaded and you look to the back, sometimes it's all the way to Highway 52. There'll be like 20, 30 trucks, and they take forever. I mean, you do the math. At 2 minutes a truck getting loaded, you're the 30th truck.
Yeah, there's an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can be back for your second load, and that guy is still in there.
I've done that before.
Getting loaded with number one.
And I know it probably looks bad that like, damn, Paco's been sitting over there for 50 minutes already, you know, waiting to get loaded. But I'm the first one to get loaded, and that is an extra load for me, even though I sat 45 minutes, but I made $60, you know, in 45 minutes.
You ain't gonna be first tomorrow. You just gave away your trade secrets. So.
Oh, they still won't wake up as early as I do. The only one that beats me is Jack. But that's because I let him.
That's sad.
Oh yeah. Feel bad.
It can become a competition. I mean,
that's what
you know.
guys
I want to
want.
be first, and boy, I'll set my alarm 20 minutes early to beat you.
Yep. I know nobody's beating Tanny up at Fry.
Well, now I could beat Tanny up at Fry. You know why?
Why?
Because he's at Ragsdale. Oh, yeah. I was all like, man, I've been beating this dude all the time. I was like, where you been? He's like, oh, I'm doing Ragsdale now. I was like, oh, no wonder. I thought I was all cool.
You're all proud of yourself, and he's in another pit.
I was. But yeah, to get back at this trades, I don't know if you had any more questions.
I do. What's your first event look like?
It's going to look great. Well, I'm praying it all works out. So I've been looking for some help, and that's why I'm here doing this podcast. You know, of course, you guys helped last time financially, and this time I want to raise more money. I'm trying to raise a lot of money this time, not just from you guys, and maybe even potentially help. If anybody that's hearing this podcast wants to help with this, let me know. So what we want to do is put like different tents: an electrician tent, a plumber tent, a truck driver tent, whatever trade there is that we could put a tent. And in these tents, we want to put where you could go do this trade for free. So one time I listened to Joanne's podcast here, and she said that she worked with housing. So I know housing is state, and also they have a lot of money. They always giving money to people to help out with schooling and stuff like this. So I reached out to Joanne, and I was like, hey, you still got some of them connects? And it took like a while, and then she just all of a sudden hit me up, and then she's like, hey, I have this lady called Cassandra Ornell, or her name is Cassandra Ornelas, and she hit her up. That lady's all like, yeah, give him my information. And it's so weird because she knows my pastor. Like, she's like, I know that church and stuff. And so it's crazy how everything is happening, because I didn't imagine for something like this, for me, the person who I am and who I was. I went to a meeting, with this lady, and she runs Southwest Denver Coalition. And bro, she has probably like about, I don't know if she calls them partners, but like 90 different partners where they'll pitch in money, help, or whatever. I went to one of her events, and they had 70 tents, and it was to get out for the summer event. They had like people doing bike rides, they had kayaks and everything, but everything is, it's like free. She had tents where you could go up and see if you could get help for your rent, even mortgage. Like, they'll help with your mortgage if you're down on mortgage, you know, with paying doctor bills and stuff like that. And that's all help that's out there that we don't know about. And I never thought that I would ever get connected to somebody like that. And she's all, oh no, we got all this help, so we could do all this. And so shout outs to Miss Joanne for connecting me to her. And it was just crazy. It's crazy to be in a room with somebody like that. I never thought it would become something. All I wanted to do was print out some brochures and put them out there, you know, and be like, oh, look, oh, maybe I could go to this place and get this for free. Like, I know Vero. She knows how to get some of the truck driving paid, you know. And so that's what we want to do in these tents, like be able to point the people in the right direction to get things for free. But I want to hit communities like that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is, and I know because you told me you have a truck driving school in mind, and you're trying to raise money to put somebody through truck driving school. Yeah,
so that's my goal. I went pretty high. Not as high as somebody is, but I went pretty high at telling Pastor, like, hey, I'm going to raise money to get somebody to do like a raffle during that. So in that event, we get like 400 to 600 people in that event. I was like, I want to do a raffle to where we could pay somebody's truck driving that day. And then, so Randy Lopez truck driving, I don't know how much he's charging now, but he capped it at $4,000. He's all like, hey, I'll cap it at $4,000 and I'll be at your event. And so that's what I'm trying to raise. And even when I told Pastor, you know, he has so much faith. So, yeah, it'll happen. You'll raise that money. And then I'm all like, all right, well, I'm going to shoot for that much. 'Cause at first, I don't know why it just came like that. I'm going, maybe to some people that doesn't seem like a lot, but to me it seems like a lot. I was like, well, let's push it. Let's get somebody, let's do a raffle during that event and get somebody through school. And like my prayers have been like, let's be able to raise this money and change somebody's life. That when it changed my life as a truck driver, it changed my wife's life. It changed my baby's life, and it changed kids that I have with other women's life, you know. Like my son, I got custody of one of my kids, one of my boys. Not custody, but my ex was all like, you know what? Take him, show him how to be a man. And he has been learning. Like right now, he's at my friend's shop. He's 12. He's at my friend's shop washing cars, you know, for the summer. That's going to be his job. And this is what I was talking about. When I was young, I never had that. But like I said, it wasn't because I made a mistake. It was just because it was a reaction to what we know. Kind of like some of the truck drivers that drive with owner operators, you know. We can't be like, these guys suck. It's just a reaction to what they know. That's how they've been driving their whole life. So they come over here and we have to be clean. I even told Super Dave, they need to smell good. They cannot be stinky, you know. So I went a little step higher than what you guys expect, you know. This dude's better. If they come in, I was like, spray some Febreze on them real quick.
If it smells clean, it is clean.
Paco, have you thought of partnering with these places that are free? And what I mean by that is like Swift and Warner and so many of these big truck driving companies, they'll pay you to go to school. So you don't have that debt, and you're creating an income, and they get your license, and you having a job immediately after, and you just have to contract with them. You know what I mean? And you've gotten your license, and there's a cost to it, but technically it's zero cost because they get their money back by you working for them for, I don't know, Dave, you probably hear more about your jam.
Typically 1 year.
A year-long contract. I mean, that's a pretty minimal commitment for going to school for free, that you just have to work at that place for a year. And I know, I can't list the names of them, but I have so many friends that own their own businesses, like electrical companies and things like that. You can just go to work there and start out as an apprentice, and you learn their trade. And when you're an apprentice for X years, you just have to test out on it, and then you've got your license. You know, but I mean, all of those things involve commitment, right? You can't just start it and go 30 days later, oh, I quit or whatever, because then you are forced to pay the bill for what it costs to go to school.
I did that.
Or some of that stuff. You know what I mean? And I guess there's so many things out there that are free that the people just need to go to work to earn that, right?
Yeah, so that's part of this. That's why I said to point them in the right direction. But partnering with them, no, I haven't even thought about it. I never even thought I would talk to this lady that Miss Joanne gave me, you know?
Sure.
That wasn't my plan. My plan was to print something out and be like, hey, look, you could go to Swift. You know, I never thought like, Like, all right, let's get a truck driver and put him in these tent and let him talk about numbers. Let him convince this guy that that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Some of these communities, you'll get the most loyal people out of these communities because we've came from, I'm loyal because I had nothing. Now I have something and I do appreciate it. I've lost everything before, and now that I have it, I'm like, man, I'm keeping it. You know, and I love this company, and that's why I'm here. Like, I want your guys' help. I want your advice. What was it? 25% smarter if you kick it with somebody that's smart? Man, it's 100 right now. It's 4 of you. You know, and my 20.
Man, he's complimentary.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
my,
Paco.
And my 25, you know, we're up.
I'm only worth 10%.
Well, that's 85, bro, and I got 25. We're still above 100. You know, and that's why I'm here, because it could be something great. And why partner with us, or why help me? Because maybe one day you will need help.
Yeah.
I remember when you text Canelo, Rosario, me, I don't remember who else, and ask, what can we do for you to stay here longer? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were kind of struggling at getting people to work at that time. And what if we go through that again? God willing, we don't. But what if we do? You could be like, hey, Paco, set up one of your events. Let's do what you call it?
Like a hiring spree
job
or
fair.
something.
Yeah,
Or
a job fair.
Hiring fair.
So the job fairs that we know, they're usually done in convention centers, you know, and not everybody knows about them things. At least not my communities. They don't know. We don't ever hear about that. It's like, I don't even know where a convention center is now that they took down the Denver Mart. You know, I don't even know where they would have them. So, you know, you're paying $2,000 for us to refer somebody. What if you would just invest some money and be like, hey, Paco, let's do a job fair? What if Fry was short on workers, and Fry could be like, hey, Paco, can you set up one of these job fairs in the communities? And the thing that we have is we have these events that bring people, that bring at least 400 to 600 people. And that's just something that we're just barely starting, you know, so that's probably why it would be cool. Kind of networking, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One day, you never know.
Absolutely.
That day you could have been like, man, I got 4 Gs. Let's make this event, Paco. Like, let's do something. Bring up a job fair, do something. And that's where we come in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And I feel like that is something that could be super great, but I need the help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really do. Smart people, 25%ers and a 10, you know? This 85% and the listeners, you know, if there's any listeners that are electricians or somebody that wants to volunteer their time to come and sit in a tent, convince somebody that your trade is the trade to come through, tell them where they could go get it for free. Maybe not Swift, but other companies. Just
Paco, do you have any, is there a link or anything set up where people could go and donate to your cause?
No, and that was the thing that I don't know none of that stuff, but
your wife could do that.
yeah. I don't want to talk about her because she's super smart and all the attention is to her. No, yeah, we could set up something like that. So
she makes you 25% better, man.
That is the 25%. You know, last time a lot of people wanted to donate from here. A lot of the drivers, they wanted to donate. We ended up raising $1,000 last time. And, you know, due to inflation, I won 4 this time. No, but last time we raised $1,000. A big chunk was from you guys. You know, thank you guys. But a lot of it was because the drivers couldn't get the money. And they would tell me, like, hey, what if I just Cash App you? And I wanted everything to go through you because I wanted you guys to trust me that I wasn't over there playing games. But, like, for anybody that is listening right now, like, we have a tax number. Remember, we do have a tax number where this could be deductible. I don't know how that works because I'm not a tax person. Maybe we could have somebody.
So you can run it through New Hope, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
yeah. So you'll have to get who runs the New Hope Cash Apps and all that. Who does that? Who does it? Do you know?
Pastor's daughter.
Okay, so
But even at that, if they cash out me and then I give it to them, I know that you trust me now. You know.
yeah, there's not. I mean, you could trust Paco. That's
Yeah,
not
the
an
trust
issue.
isn't the issue.
Yeah, the
It's there's
convenience.
the what?
The convenience of getting you the money. How do you want people to get you the money?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. Like cash, I have all that now. I
Okay.
didn't back then, and the reason why I didn't, and I didn't never tell, like, for instance, 0011 Ron, he wanted to pitch in a chunk, and he's all like, "How do I get it to you? And do you have Cash App?" And I was all like, "No, I don't." And he's all like, "I'm gonna try to get to the bank, but you know how it is here. We get off at 5, we don't make it to no bank."
So you got Cash App, Venmo.
Yeah, I got them too now.
Okay, maybe
Is that Zelle? You say Cash App, that's like Zelle or Venmo?
it's just called Cash App.
So,
It's
so
just-
I
never even
do
heard of
have.
it.
That's what I have. Zelle and Cash App.
no Venmo. You should
No.
get a Venmo.
Well, I'll make all of them now. Oh, yeah.
The thing is, though, Paco, the church should.
Yeah, the church does.
No, the church does.
Yeah.
And I could.
Oh, and those are yours? That's what you're
No,
talking
so
about?
I'm saying I have my own now, and we also got the church. I mean, of course, it should go through the church because that's
And
where
it's tax
everything's going to go
deductible
through.
too.
Right.
But last time, it could have been convenient if they could have just sent it to me because I didn't have nothing through the church at that time.
Sure.
So what I was going to suggest, Paco, because when you donate through the app on church, there's a drop-down menu. It could go to general tithe. It could go to offerings. It could go to the Love Wins conference. If Pastor's daughter can make you a category that says trades for my city, people will be able to donate directly to that. They'll know what it's for, and then, you know, it's a tax deductible. It's a tax write-off for the donor. So
Exactly.
That's what I would suggest.
Exactly right, Jam. So when JFW donates to the church, it is truly a donation.
Yeah.
When we donate to you, it's just money to
It
Paco.
looks like income for
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
and,
So the
that's why I
government-
never accepted it last time.
Yeah, the
because they look
government is
bad.
going to look at that and be like, "How come you got $7,000, Paco? Who's this from? Who's this from? Who's this from? Who's this from?" And you're like, "Oh,
They
that's
just
my-"
gave it to me.
Yeah.
They gave it to me.
Was that meme? They gave it to me.
That's my fentanyl patch on the business.
But see, I wasn't
on the
even.
side.
I mean, it could work. This could work. That
Yeah.
could get fixed easily. I know
Yeah.
that they have all that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying here, for people that are listening, is we do have a tax break thing. I don't know how that works, but you do get a letter. You do get a letter,
Yeah.
and says that you donated, and there is
Yeah.
a place that you put it in there because my wife does it through TurboTax, and there's a place where you put it in there. You get some cash back on that, and so just to let everybody know this is legit, and this is what this is for, you know, and let's do this. Like,
Yeah.
it could
Let's
be
do
it
it.
could be done. We could network. It could be anybody that's listening. Like, hopefully Brandon's listening. Hopefully Fry's listening. You guys are, because you guys are here. All
So,
right.
so what we'll do, Pox, is we'll put this out. I'll put it in the outline, but then once we have a more solid link, I could go back and put out a Paycom announcement or something with ways to donate to the trades for my community.
Yeah.
Or even volunteers, you know. And you don't have to. You could go. And if you have kids that are 18, 19, 20, and you want them to try to look for a trade, take them to the event.
Nice.
You know?
Cool.
Like, this doesn't, you don't have to donate. You could go and get something out of this.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm just glad I know the founder of Trades for My Community. That's all I'm saying. So,
The messenger.
We're honored.
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
all right, let's move on to some questions from the audience. It's kind of weird. I've had a few text messages about this between yesterday and today. There was a little, I'm just going to call it what it is. There was a little drama down at Union yesterday in regards to pulling in and waiting by the ticket box while somebody's dumping by the sand pile, right? One side of the fence is we've been servicing that plant for years, and we've always gone in there and waited by the ticket box while a truck is dumping by the sand pile. But it's kind of weird because they made it so unique to the South Plant, to Union. It doesn't matter where you are, right? If you're too close to another truck, don't park there, right? If somebody could be at the sand pile dumping and you could be waiting at the ticket box far enough away, There's nothing wrong with that. If the truck is further towards the ticket box and it's not safe for you to pull in and park by the ticket box, don't park there. It's pretty simple. But it's turned into this, is there a unique, the way the question was asked, is there an unwritten rule about dumping at Union? Meaning, it's unwritten, pull your truck in there and wait. To me, you're the captain of that ship, that's your truck, you get to decide what's safe and what's not safe. You got to be far enough away from the truck dumping. That's it. So, hope that clears it up. Ray actually wrote a tips and tricks about it. I mean, I guess I could just go ahead and read that since it's related.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
And then we'll go back to the safety topics and the other question I have. But tips and tricks from Ray Davis. Dumping 60 feet or closer to another truck. Is that the rule, Jim, 60 feet? I mean, the trailers are 40.
Yeah, 35 feet,
Yeah.
35-foot trailer,
Yeah.
and they're angled up and stuff, Jam.
Yeah.
I think it's another one of that black and white thing, but I think to be safe, you
60
keep that
feet.
distance. Yeah.
Nobody, if you're 50 feet, we're not going to come out there with a tape measure and be like, you need to move over 10 feet. Right?
Yeah.
You got to just be far enough where if that trailer falls over, you need to be far enough away. So, this situation was brought to my attention from a trainer and some drivers. JFW rules and common sense: never dump next to another truck. Dumping next to another truck is a safety hazard. If a trailer is to go over, you wouldn't want it to fall on yourself or others. Always keep your distance. Failure to pay attention or use the correct safety precautions is probably one of the most common reasons for errors. It is easy to get comfortable on the job and feel there isn't a risk. You should always follow protocol and pay close attention when dumping or waiting to dump. With this said, South or the Union plant and Plant 12 have gray areas with this when your truck is dumping sand and the next driver pulls in at South or Union. You should always wait till the driver that is dumping is already backing into position and setting up before we start to pull in. Never pull forward and put yourself in that red zone. If that trailer is to go over, it could come down on top of you. Yes, South/Union is a small plant, and we are pushing the whole 60-foot limit anywhere in that yard. So be aware of your surroundings. Make sure that you are not putting yourself or others in harm's way. Plant 12, you need to make sure that the truck that is dumping, the trailer is coming down before you pull next to that truck. Make the safe choice. Don't be in a hurry. Let's all go home safely to our family and loved ones. Remember, safety has no blind spots. Much love and respect always, Ray 0012. Ray 0012. So,
I love that term, red area.
The red zone?
The red zone.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think with me, Jam, when you mentioned that, I ran that was the last plant I ran with Big John down at Union, and he helped me out and stuff. And the loader operator said, I have to wait by the mailbox and stuff like that. But I've also, down there when we were dumping, there was people there. I stayed out on the street. But I think in a lot of situations, I'll spin around or I'll set up to back up next to the truck. And usually if I'm backing up or going to be, inside that 60-foot area, they've already dumped. Right. They're empty and it's coming down, or they're at their last of the, the chances of it tipping over are basically gone. Right. And then I'll back in and do my thing. So there's that point. But the point of raising the trailer out of the saddles and what's happening, that's the dangerous part of the dump.
Absolutely.
So to push that limit, I think we can be better at being in that safe zone, the red zone. Yeah.
If the trailer's empty and coming down, you can back in next to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's common sense.
Yep. And if the trailer is loaded and going up, it doesn't matter if you're at South or Union or anywhere. You shouldn't be next to that truck. So.
Right.
Okay. All right, jumping back up, the next question from the audience. Man, Gilly is really pushing this. It's not on your outline. He just texted me. He's asking about an ice machine here for the main yard.
We have a great ice machine. It's at yard 23. Just down the street.
Yeah, I was like, bro, we could bring the dirty ice over here. He's like, I want it from my cooler. So
yeah.
I'll tell you, I mean, I know this doesn't answer your question, but I just buy the blue ice packs, Gilly, and they stay cold and frozen in my cooler all day long.
Yep, me too, Jim.
You just freeze them at home.
I mean, is he using it for just to keep things cool in his cooler?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we use are the blue ice packs.
Yep. Problem solved.
Yeah, the other ice melts and it'd just be all watery.
Yeah.
Your sandwich would be full of water.
Yeah.
Your PB&J, your Crustable.
Damn it.
Hey, don't knock those Crustables, man.
I'm not knocking anything.
They're not cheap, though.
They're not.
They're not.
It's easier to make them. Just
Right.
Put a circle
Well,
on
it's cheaper to make them. Yeah.
Right.
They're also not good for you. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Man,
All that
he
white
just
process.
killed the party, didn't he?
I know, they are good.
They're good tasting.
If they
Probably
were
loaded with salt.
if they were made out of meat, they would be just fine.
Meat flavored peanut butter.
Yeah.
Did we talk?
We're jumping back up to the safety topics, Jim.
Okay, but did we mention anything about the overweight permits? I know we did the ride-alongs. Did we say anything about the
No, we didn't talk about overweight permits.
Want to just touch on that, Dave, right quick, or somebody, and we'll,
Sure. We have overweight permits here.
Yep.
They have restrictions on them. It says weather permitting,
Ooh.
right? Does it say weather permitting, or how does it state?
conditions. I think it's conditions.
Weather conditions? That makes sense. What changes with our weather?
The adversity.
Huh? The adversity.
Road conditions.
Adverse weather conditions. Boy, it makes me think of Dave's weather job. Yeah, you guys, if it's raining or snowing, you cannot use those permits. Those are adverse weather conditions. Your vision is hampered. Your stopping distances are less. All of those things are conditions. You know, we were talking about how to kind of advise rule of thumb on that, and I kind of spit out, if you're running your wipers, you shouldn't be using your overweight permit. I mean, that's an easy one, right? If it's raining, you shouldn't be using it. If it's snowing, you shouldn't be using it. But what if it's foggy and you're not having to use your wipers, but it's foggy and you can't see? Well, you shouldn't be using it. So any type of impaired vision or anything that just makes you question it, remember the State Patrol has the ultimate judgment on that. They're the ones that are going to stop you and ticket you for that. And I guess, you know, you have to use your best judgment in that. I know it was pouring rain Saturday, and we made an announcement on it, and I think it kind of caught 2 or 3 people unaware, like, oh, I can't use this because it's raining? Yes, you can't use it because it's raining. It's an impairment. So you have to use your judgment on that, and I guess we just ask for your best guidance on that as well.
Yeah, I think it's twofold though, Dave, and I know, you know, they're probably mainly talking about adverse conditions for us, but we need to really look at it for the other person. So let's say it's just raining. You're driving the big truck. You know, you probably won't hydroplane. You know, you're also loaded 50% of the time. You're going to go through the puddles. But it's very adverse for everybody else.
Right.
That guy in that small car, the guy driving in the fog, driving in a little bit of weather. So, but when that person wrecks or has a problem or is driving really slow, that then makes it adverse for you because you have to stop that loaded truck. You know, you have to brake, you have to be aware of them. So it's not only the adverse conditions for yourself, but think of how all the, you know, with all the rain we've had, look at all the accidents that I've been past, and it's a single car accident. You're like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? What the hell's wrong with this guy?
Jim, something comes to mind, and it's kind of puzzling. Paco, you're chuckling. Do you think you know what I'm about to say?
Yeah, say it.
Let's hear it.
What was it called?
Situational awareness.
I was going to say awareness, but I knew there was another word there.
I mean, Jim, you're spot on. I mean, I was just telling you, Sunday we had some plans that you and I were going to do, and we had to change them because it was raining, right? We had foul weather, and then there was a little break in the storm, and it was like, oh, hey, do you want to go do this? And I'm like, I'm already doing something else, but now I'm stuck in traffic. We finally get to this accident, you know, and it was right by Central Plant. A lone vehicle went through the guardrail. Like, he was the only vehicle there, right? And you know he was just hydroplaning because it was raining so bad Sunday, and I'm just like, oh, man, what are these people thinking? But, you know, it makes you wonder, they have their license, right? So they were given the same skills we were given. So is it a will problem, right? Or do all vehicles just have bad tires that crash? Or, you know, I still have to break it back down to the person driving.
Yeah.
They're not paying attention to something.
No,
they're not focused on something.
Exactly right. I mean, take Johnny's accident last week, okay? in the rain, and it was, from what everybody's guesstimating, it was 2 hours before Johnny went through there, or a good hour before Johnny went through there. So just to make it brief, Johnny was coming, where was it, 285? Was that?
Coming down from Fairplay, right?
From Fairplay. Yeah. But anyway, a car crashed, and the person ended up being dead because they found the car. But an hour to 2 hours before Johnny came through there, knocked some wires down. How nobody else snagged it in that point, but another car snagged a wire that was down, started to drag the pole up, and then Johnny had to go through there, and it ended up being about the height of the visor or the hood. Well, I guess we wrecked a mirror and stuff. But anyway, we tore Johnny's truck up badly with just a wire down across the highway. That's the adverse conditions I'm talking about. Right. That's, if Johnny had to do something, and I don't know if he was loaded, overweight, anything like that, I'm not saying about that conditions, but that's what they're talking about, the conditions. If Johnny had to do some kind of move or get off the road or stop even sooner than he did, 25 tons is easier to stop than that 30.
Oh, yeah. 80,000 pounds versus 92,000 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 6 tons.
Yep.
You're going to navigate a heck of a lot easier at 80,000 than 92,000.
Yeah, that person, when they found him, they was deceased.
Yeah.
In the car.
Yeah.
The wires knocked down.
And that accident cost $10,000.
Oh, yeah.
Max deductible right out.
The car, on our video, and maybe Johnny knows because of the car, but I can't believe it didn't tear that one car up in front of Johnny even more. Just that single wire, like flip the car, spin it out.
That would have decapitated a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah.
That wire rope.
Oh, yeah. That's the first I've heard that it was an hour or more before Johnny came along on that. I thought it was just minutes.
JR's been finding the details out. He's been working with the State Patrol, Dave, and the electric company or the power pole company.
Yeah.
So
and shout out to Johnny. What an amazing job, man. He kept his cool. I mean, he was just like a pilot. You know what I mean? He navigated that situation, and I mean the carnage. I mean the wire came over the front of the hood. It was tearing the mirrors off. Hit the cab of the truck, smashed the windshield, the mirror on the right side of the truck. I mean, it folded the visor in like a taco. I mean, that was a taco, not a Paco.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just
same thing.
It was awful, and I mean, what a rock star, man.
It was that good training he got.
Yeah, it was good training, right? Good job, Fox. And
this is what you need to do when electrical wires in the middle of the highway out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You told him that, right?
Yep. I was going to ask, is that the Johnny I trained?
It was. Yeah. So good job, Johnny, keeping your composure. We've seen so many times where, people in that position just panic and don't know what to do.
They're done driving for the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
and I mean he just did it. He knocked it out of the park. What a great job, Johnny. So.
And those are the circumstances. I mean, the odds on that happening again or ever happening to Johnny, happening to anybody else are so high. But here's that situation. You just never know.
Yep. Yeah. So situational awareness, pay attention. So
and that's about the overweight. That's what we're talking about. Is that's the condition that the overweights are meant not to be used.
Yep.
All right. Next safety topic of the week is safety has no blind spot. Brother Dave, you wanted to talk about that?
Yeah, we need to keep drilling this in everybody's heads. We've had several accidents, and technically we just had another accident yesterday.
Yep.
Right? As far as not paying attention, that it's that blind spot. This vehicle was right in front of us, and we hit it. Doesn't matter whether it was 0 miles an hour. It was right in front of us. Yep. It wasn't a blind spot. That vehicle was there. We just weren't focused on it, and we have to be vigilant. We have to be focused, and we're talking about what this could possibly turn into, and only because this guy's immediately claiming, "Oh, my neck hurts." Right? I mean, you don't even have damage to your car in theory, right? There's like a scratch.
Yep.
No damage to our truck, obviously, but it's just one of those, I don't want to say unfortunate, because it wasn't unfortunate. It's unfortunate for JFW because we're having to deal with it, but that driver wasn't focused. He was not paying attention, not aware of his surroundings, not vigilant, not focused on what he was doing, not aware of his surroundings, right? Not paying attention. So it's critical. It's just critical. Back to the blind spot while we're driving home, when you go to change lanes to the right, that's been our bad spot. You need to lean forward. you need to look forward. You need to look to the right. You need to check your mirrors. You need to look at all those spots. You need to check all those blind spots. Even if they're not a blind spot, you need to check it. You just need to be vigilant about your surroundings and prepared for all things.
Amen. Yeah, it's kind of, we started the campaign, and I don't want to say it's lost steam, but we're noticing drivers don't have their bracelets on anymore, and it's kind of like, okay, that was cool, and on to the next, So,
Yeah,
hey,
all the leadership team wears their bracelets. I kind of laugh, and I'm being sarcastic here, but Kendrick says stop at all stop signs, specifically 52nd and Dahlia, and the one at the Firestone Pit. I mean, it's all stop signs. Right? You know what I mean? How many times does the State Patrol sit right there at Pit 6 when you get off I-70, Paco? Yeah. They love to sit there and write truckers tickets for not stopping at the stop sign, and I don't understand why. Why not just stop? It's a stop sign. It's not, slow down briefly. Stop. Stop at it. That's what it's made for. Jim and I have ran into it for years now, coming to work every morning. You show up at 5 a.m. here at the Newport yard, and tons of drivers blow that stop sign in their car off of 53rd onto Newport, and we're like, wow. I mean, it kind of blows our minds sometimes that you're in that big a hurry to blow that stop sign. That's poor judgment. Yep. Stop at all stop signs. That's why there's stop signs.
Period, point blank. Cool. Who wants to go over the safety stats from last month? Super Dave? Jim? Brother Dave?
Yeah, go ahead, Super. Yeah.
So JR does a great job putting these stats together for us. If anything, I think it's a great review for everybody because it is, what we're trying to achieve here, and that's improvement, right? So these are just, generalizations, but speeding is down by 5%. The majority is light speeding, 1 to 5 mile an hour over. But that improved 4%, which is really good. Moderate speeding, 5 to 10 mile per hour over, improved by 4%. And heavy speeding, which is really the dangerous one, 10 to 15 miles per hour, improved by 14%. Severe speeding, which is over 15 miles an hour over, that stayed the same with 0% change from April. Collision risks, this is not good, but it is 11% more than in April. Following two close events were 29 more. Distracted driving, a total of 5 inattentive events was 1 more. And mobile usage was improved, actually, less, 2 events less, which is good. A total of 27 events.
I got to jump in there and interrupt you, Dave, and I'm sorry for that because you kind of skipped over it, and there's a lot of information here. But the collision risks being 11% higher in April, I mean, that's pretty scary, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, our collision risk is up 11% more in May than it was in April.
Yeah.
That, as an owner, that's a holy shit factor for me, and I'm sorry for the language, but that's a holy S factor for me.
But I wonder if that has a lot to do with the 29 more following close events, Dave, that you're putting yourself, right?
That's exactly what I'm bringing up to. That camera warns you when you're following too close. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's telling you for a reason. And we've had it happen that the camera is not in adjustment or needs, calibration, right? But if that camera's telling you that repeatedly, call one of us. We can check that calibration and then we can verify it. So we had 29 more following too close events in May than we did in April. So that's a big deal. We need to, when that camera is telling you something, it's telling you something for a reason. So pay attention to that.
Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that's because we have sometimes a near collision event, like in the canyon. Happens a lot in the canyon
when you're past a vehicle or something like that.
Sure, typically Dave. 2 big trucks going past.
I mean, we would have to look at the mileage, but I would tell you, as slow as May has been with the rain, and I'm guessing here, I would tell you we ran more miles in April than we did in May.
Yeah.
And our events are up in May. That's scary.
Right. That's a much greater percentage because our mileage was down.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yep. We did have one crash, which was the same as April. I guess we had one also in April. That crash was at Highway 85 northbound at 104th. A car attempted to squeeze in front of Rich. and that was not our fault. We did have 5 events of no seatbelt use, which to me, there's no excuse for that. I mean, it's the first thing you do before you even put that in drive is buckle your seatbelt, you know. Traffic signs and signals. So this is about, you know, Kendrick's issue with stopping at the stop signs. His reminder, we had 20 total events in May, which was 3 more than in April. So that was 19 rolling stops, and then a lane departure. We had 1 event of lane departure, which might be attributed to inattentive driving or distracted driving. Then we're going to move on to good news here. This is the 15 Samsara safe drivers for March. The top 9 are all 100%. They tied for first place. That's Potter, Coleman O'Mara, Rick Gray, Mike Bortz, John Moore, Herb Turner, Bree Baldridge, Nat Bisignano, Rob White. They all scored 100 on the Samsara safety score.
That is awesome.
Good job, you guys.
Outstanding.
Thank you very much.
Can't get better.
Yep. Second place was another great big tie. There was actually 18 drivers tied at 99 for their safety score. And he didn't list all of them here.
Yeah, just a partial list.
Yep.
But
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we had third place. We had 16 drivers tied at a 98, which is just outstanding. I don't even know, what does it take you, Jam, to lose 2 points? 1 rolling stop, or
I would say
Speeding, isn't it, Jam?
well, severe speeding would, you know, potentially mobile phone usage will hit you pretty hard.
maybe that's what it
Poking your
was.
nose.
Yeah.
poking your nose.
Answering your Pop-Tart.
Yep. But still, a 98 for the whole month is outstanding.
It is. It is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then we had 107 drivers that scored in the green, and that's plus over 90, I should say. And that was 4 more, a 4-driver improvement over April. And then in the yellow, that's an 80 to 89 score. We had 12 drivers in that category. That is a 2-driver improvement over the month of April. So that's awesome. And then in the red, we improved again. That is 79, equal to 79 or less. And we had 2 drivers less in that category. We only had 1 driver for a total in that. So we improved in the red as well.
That's
So,
good.
Outstanding. Risk factors of those in the red this month are 3 events of following too close, a speed moderate 5 to 10 over, and then distracted driving 2 events. So there you have it.
All right. Appreciate you going over those, Soup. Thank you, JR, for putting that together. It is time for the High Road Hauling.
All right.
Man, back to
All
back
right.
for you, Soup.
So I ran across this article completely by chance. I liked the story at the beginning of it, so I started reading through the article, and I was like, "Hey, this is pretty good." It kind of ties into some of life events that have been happening around JFW over the past few weeks. But I love the story, so we're going to start out with the story. A farmer used an old horse in his fields. One day, the horse escaped into the hills. When his neighbors sympathized with the farmer over his bad luck, he replied, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" A week later, the horse returned, along with a herd of wild horses. "What good luck," his neighbors said, and the farmer replied again, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" And later, as the farmer's son attempted to tame one of the wild horses, he fell and broke his leg. "What bad luck," the neighbor said, and the farmer replied again, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" Some weeks later, the army marched into their village. They drafted every able-bodied young person. The farmer's son, with his broken leg, was not one of them. Good luck, bad luck, who knows? The farmer's mindset embodies the Buddhist teaching of impermanence. This shall pass. When dealing with the ups and downs of life, it is a mindset that fosters resilience and hope. We witness life's impermanence all around us every day. The life and death cycle in nature, the rise and falls of styles and trends, or even the climate change that we hear about all the time. With the ups and downs we all experience, we can realize the concept of impermanence. And this realization and acceptance will help us take things less personally, especially the tragedies, losses, disappointments, and rejections we all endure at different times. Much of the pain we experience in life is inevitable. However, our suffering can be reduced when we cultivate acceptance of impermanence, learning to stop resisting and appreciate the moment will pass, rather than use avoidance strategies that cling to how we like things to be. This acceptance will reduce your anxiety and fear of change. Yet the reality of impermanence is also crucial for personal transformation, healing and creative change. It is an awareness of impermanence that can help us appreciate the possibilities offered by the many paths towards personal development that lead to a more fulfilled way of life, such as better relationships, career paths, and personal happiness. In the practice of Buddhism, all sentient beings participate. This is really interesting because you'll get the tie-in here. In the practice of Buddhism, all sentient things participate in a cycle of living, dying, and rebirth called the Wheel of Samsara. Isn't that funny?
That's weird, Dave.
Yeah. The purpose of life is to achieve freedom from this cycle by attaining nirvana or enlightenment. Our understanding that everything in life is constantly changing, for better or worse, is the first steps towards moving forward without the emotional baggage that we create ourselves. And so that's a good little kind of anchoring thought for everybody as their lives change. And the quote this week is also from the Dalai Lama, who was a Buddhist preacher. In order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision. And that's a pretty positive quote. I bet I've used that one before.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave.
Nice job, Soup.
But you surprised the hell out of me, Jam, because I said that about impermanence, and you said, "Oh yeah, I had a Buddhist friend of mine that would tell you about that." And
yeah, Buddhists, they like to fly right in the middle. You know, if something bad's happened, they don't want to bring themselves too down because they know things will change and they'll come back up. But on the flip side, if something really good happens in your life, and you know the Buddhist beliefs, you know,
don't get too excited.
Don't get too excited because the stormy weather is about to come again. You know, it may not be next week or next month or next year, but
I don't know if I'm all into that because you got to appreciate when good things do happen and celebrate them, right?
Absolutely. Yep. My beliefs are a little different, but that's a whole nother podcast. All right. Final thoughts, everybody?
Yeah, I'm going to jump right in on final thoughts just because of the morning we had this morning, and I just got to jump in there and go post-trip, post-trip, post-trip. Don't understand what the problem is. I just wrote some words down right quick and, you know, like or not like, but half-assed, do your job, be better. Day's not done just because you're in and parked. Do you know how to turn $30 into $300? Go to work. Skill problem versus will problem. I mean, these are all words, conversations, skills that we provide, but you still have to apply them. You know, I mean, we are only as good as you want to be. JFW only looks as good as you want to be. And when we have people here that don't want to be that good, it shows. Right. And it brings the rest of us down. It makes the rest of us look bad. And I mean, Paco, you can attest to it. Is this a hard job?
To wake up.
But the rest is physically and mentally it's pretty good. Easy, right?
I mean, fat.
so
easy I got fat.
But you still have to do things to be good around here, right?
Yep.
You have to check your tires at night. You have to bump them with the hammer. You have to listen for a leak. You have to check your oil. You have to keep the antifreeze full. You have to still do things, you know, and to be successful, we say is easy around here, but you still need to do it. And to me, it's easy, right? But, you know, I'm sure if I was new at a job somewhere else and I needed to learn that trade, it may be difficult. But I would hope someone there at that place has given me the skills because I would hope I have the will to do it.
This job's harder for some people than others.
It is. It is, for sure, Jim. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's the reason I'm making the point. Like, if I was possibly doing another trade, you know, and I kind of watch other trades. I'm interested by other things. other than just driving a truck or being around trucks.
You do all the trades here. You've been the plumber. You've been the electrician. You've been the welder.
You're doing all the tints.
So I guess it's just you have to apply yourself, right?
Yeah.
You have to want to be better. You're not going to go anywhere if you're mediocre, and
Nope.
and mediocre at best to me just isn't good enough.
Nope.
Everyone here is better than that. So do the best you can. Some people's best is better than others, but at least do the minimum. At least do your post trip. At least check your truck. To me, those are the minimums, right? That's the minimum you can do.
There's no skill. There's a skill of doing a post trip, but there's no skill to actually go and do it.
Right.
You have to have the skills to do it, but you got to have the will to go do it. That's definitely the will, not the skill problem.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
Yep. My last is just really short here. Watched Sunday morning this weekend here, and they had a short piece on Charlie White, and one of his neighbors did a book on him.
That's Uncle Charlie.
Right, Uncle Charlie. But he lived to be 109 years old. And one of the things that they asked him, the neighbor across the street that wrote the book about him, is, what's your secret? Everybody looks at somebody that's old and goes, what's your secret? How'd you live so long? Is it 5 beers a day, 2 cigarettes, and
Peppers.
a slice of cheese or something like that? But Charlie's thing was, and it falls in line with what Dave's saying and what we say all the time, but they actually had a recording of him, and I don't know at what age, and he even had this license plate on his Mustang, had this too. But he said, and we talk about it, and Dave just talked about it, he said, do the right thing. Okay, that's his motto. If you do the right thing. But he ended it with, do the right thing because it is so simple, that's what makes it so good.
Yeah.
To do the right thing is simple, and it makes it so good, you guys.
make you stick out.
Right? Makes you stick out. So, and then his license plate was DORTTHG. Do the right thing.
Isn't that a Spike Lee thing? Soup?
Funny.
Final thoughts?
I like that, Jim. Do the right thing. If anything, you feel really good when you do that.
Yeah, it's so simple, but it can be so
It's
good.
rewarding in
Yeah.
all the ways that you
Yeah.
can think of.
Yeah.
Hawks?
There you go.
Well, mine's kind of, do the right thing. Help out. Well, I had a little thing for Jim. I don't know if I was supposed to say it here or in private, but
Oh, jeez.
I remember when the presidential things were coming out and you guys were saying, like, do your research. I know my wife talked about it where I wasn't with her on the party that she was going for. I don't know if I should name it or not, but
Man, Pox is getting political.
like as
Yeah,
as a Mexican, they feed us this immigration agenda thing, and so it's so crazy because we believe it, but at the end of the day, nobody does nothing. Like they don't come through. At least the party that I go for now, they just don't promise. The other ones promise, they don't come through. But you guys would say do the research. My wife would say do the research, and I did the research, and I love my new party. like I'm all for it. I'm always throwing things out. I want somebody to call me out on it. I want to argue about it. I want to prove them wrong. And this is for Jim. Like I've heard you a lot of times on the podcast tell Jam, like, I know you're more religious than I am, but this and that. And you said it several times, and I've been wanting to come up and just tell you, like he's not more religious than nobody. Like, we all are the same. But I'm going to ask you something, like, do your research. And everybody can, but I've heard him say that, like, do your research. It's good. Like,
Amen.
It really is good.
Amen.
And it's not going to be a religion. You'll start building a relationship to what you're believing in. It's not no religion, no cult, nothing. It's a relationship with what you're going to start believing, and just seriously, do your research. I did. I love it. Love my party. I'm going to vote. for who I didn't want to vote last time. So now I'm shooting at you or bringing you up or
I
whatever
love
you
it.
want to say.
Right.
Do your research.
Right.
Man, I thought you were going to ask him for 10 grand. This is even better. Much better.
I'm trying to save them.
The thing is, it's easy to write that check. It's hard to believe, right?
Well,
right?
Yeah, but when you do your research, I used to be like, how are these guys believing in this guy and Trump? Like, man, that guy's such an asshole. And this, man, once I did my research, I was like, man, I was so wrong.
Well, the two things, Paco, right quick, is he's still kind of an asshole. I mean, his whole persona, but what he was doing was good because he ran the country like a business. You know, that's the basis of that. And as far as being religious, and Jam and me have had conversations about it, is I have done the research. I've probably not done enough research, but from my point of view is I find it so hard to blindly believe, Paco, and that's all on me, you know, and maybe I haven't done enough research.
Yeah.
And so that would, you know, and I'm not defending myself. I'm just trying to give you an answer that, yes, you're probably absolutely right. I could do some more research. Thank you.
Yeah, because
appreciate
I
that.
did. I changed.
That's good. And everybody can change.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, just like we do the right thing, and it's so simple. So thank you. And thank you for being involved in your community. I mean, great job.
100%.
Yeah, I kind of want to close up with that, and I didn't know how to bring it in earlier, but you've kind of touched upon it about the community. And one of the things that you said that hit home for me, Paco, is the neighborhood you grew up in and you weren't taught any of the work ethics and the things like that, and you made some bad choices and you went to prison and you were taught some of these skills while in prison, right? And, you know, now you're touching upon what was going through my brain when you were explaining all that, is we're back, that no matter what, it comes back around to politics and taxes and the things we pay as just a good American or a tax-paying citizen. I would much rather help teach a trade to a young person and keep them from going to prison.
Yeah.
And now we're paying for you in prison. Now we're paying for a program to be created while in prison, you know, which is great to rehabilitate while in there, right? At least they have a captive audience.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But you know what I mean? What a much more efficient or better way to do it and bypass all of that cost to the taxpayers of prison, right? And we just took a person and it's almost twofold because you made them successful right out of the gate rather than making a mistake, going to the wrong side, they're upside down then, and we need to get them right side up in the whole financial game, the world, and they're starting over at 25 or 30 when they could have started just at the beginning.
At Coleman.
When they were 17, 18, 19, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, for me, when you look at it politically, when you look at it tax-wise, when you look at all of those costs, and I'm not trying to put a number to it. I'm just trying to say what a better way to do it your way, which is the right way, versus the wrong way. Yet I'm thankful there was help for the wrong way, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Either would Ray.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
all of that.
totally.
I mean, at least we did something.
Right.
Well, let's do something again the right way.
There you
go. Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Channel 23 podcast. Hit that follow button. Also, don't forget to go back and listen to episode 72 and help find Amber's mom.
Don't take it.
Let's go ahead and say the creed.
Together we face and overcome all that stands before us. Together we are accident-free. Together we joyfully create honest values for those we serve. Together we celebrate our differences and respect those with whom we work. Together we are accountable for our words and our actions. Together we are the JFW family. Woo! Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We work for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. I hear there's a couple million tons to move. I see them everywhere. So you best get out their way and watch that sand and gravel disappear. There's another run to make. We gotta get it there on time. And we got what it takes to lay it all out on the line. We'll lay it all out on the line. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks got the best drivers in town. They've got all the tools they need to keep that hammer down. When they hit them scales, they won't need to dodge them, won't need to duck them. They just keep that hammer down, and they keep that diesel trucking. Keep that hammer down, and keep that diesel trucking. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a looking for another load. They just keep them doors a-closed, keep them butts in their seats, 'cause those customers are calling, and those red trucks can't be beat. They've gotta put the hammer down and pick up another load. Get it off the ground, keep them eyes open and on the road. Keep them eyes open on the road. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Breaker 23, anybody got a copy on that Channel 23 podcast? Welcome, and thanks for listening.